All right, guys. We are efforting information on whether or not Erika Kirk is still in Middle Tennessee. We do not know at this moment. I do know her plane that she flew in on is still on the ground at B&A, the local airport here in Nashville. Whether she flew out on another plane, that would be slick. That would be really slick. Schedule a flight out of Nashville, fool everybody, not let anybody know where you are. I don't know why that matters. I don't know why she would go through that. I don't know why she would do that. But to recap for those of you who, but I'm checking right now. That plane is still on the ground in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm looking as we speak. For those of you who are not following along, let me show you real quickly, and then I'll get to the opening statement. But I do want to show you what I'm talking about here. This is the very luxurious Gulfstream 5 that Erika Kirk flies around on. It's about $10,000 to $12,000 an hour to operate this plane. So this flight back to Scottsdale will cost her somewhere in the neighborhood of 25. Well, won't cost her. It'll probably cost TPUSA donors $25,000 or so each way is kind of my estimate of what it would cost. The rich live a different lifestyle than you and I live, peasants. We don't live the same lifestyle, and that's okay. That's okay. I don't hate them. Somebody's employed flying that plane around. Somebody's employed filling it up with gas and maintaining it. Someone had to build it. Someone had to, get it where it goes. I'm not hating on rich people. Hopefully, we all get that rich, right? Maybe one day we'll get that rich. But for right now, let me say this. I have a little bit of a problem with it when it's donor money. It's one thing if it's not, but I don't want to get too far carried away here. This is the flight as it came in to B&A today. B&A being Nashville Airport, Berry Field there in Nashville. From Scottsdale, it was supposed to leave at 7:30. It left at 8:24. Maybe I can make this a little bigger for you. And maybe not. Yeah, there. It was supposed to leave at 7:30 Scottsdale time. It left at 8:24. It arrived at B&A at 11. It was supposed to arrive at 11:39. I think it got here about 10 after 12. 12:15. There you go. And here's the scheduled flight back. It was supposed to leave at 4:30 p.m. It has not left. That's the actual time of departure. It is not gone. So as of right now. Now, does this mean Candace and Erika are having a long, extended meeting? Maybe. Maybe she's dancing on Broadway. People come to Nashville to dance on Broadway. Maybe she's gone down to Broadway, put on her black leather pants, and she's dancing the night away. I don't know. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know why she's not in the air, but I'm telling you right now, that's the aircraft, and it's still sitting here. So we'll get to that in a second. We got a big show lined up tonight. I'll get to all the airport stuff in just a second, but I do want to get to the opening statement. So bear with me here. I almost forgot the biggest news. We are, at present, as we sit here right now, 162 people away from qualifying for the $1,000 gift card. We're at 99,838 subscribers. So if there are 162 of you who are not subscribers, subscribe now. We'll click over to 100,000. And then when this show goes up on YouTube tonight, after we get done, it'll go up on YouTube. Go in there and I will tell you how to qualify for the $100,000 gift card giveaway. Not 100,000, excuse me. The $1,000 gift card. I cannot give you guys way more than I make off this program, but I'll give you a big chunk of it. I'll give you $1,000 of it because you guys have been great. And I'll tell you towards the end of the program, or when we click the number here, I'll tell you how to qualify. Oh, we're over it. We're over it. Wow, guys, thank you. That is amazing. So let me tell you real quickly how we're going to do this. And I'll try to mention it again today. How we're going to qualify for this. You guys are going to comment on this when it goes up. These live stream comments that you're seeing over here are not going to count. So don't think you're going to qualify that way. When the episode goes up on YouTube, it's the only way I can do it. I can't grab random comments out of the live stream, but I can grab. There are tools online that can grab random comments out of past episodes. So this will go up tonight, sometime about 15, 20 minutes or so. It takes to process. After that, it will go up on YouTube. And when it does, you will be able to comment under there. That you'll get thousands of comments, but I want you to comment the word. You can say as much as you want to, but if you don't put the word win, W-I-N, if you don't put the word win in your comment, you're not going to qualify. Because the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to go to one of these online tools that allows you to select how you want to select a winner. And I'm going to filter by the word win, W-I-N. No. Stop putting win in the live stream. That's not what I'm talking about. No, W-I-N. You guys are nuts. Don't put it in the live stream. It's not going to do it. It's not going to do it in the live stream. Stop it. You have to wait until the video goes to YouTube, and then you have to make a comment under the video. That's the only way I know how to do it. So the live stream tonight doesn't count. So all your win, you're not qualified. You're not qualified. Is that the Southern win? I don't know. Win. How do you say it normally? Win. But thank you, guys. This is an amazing accomplishment. We were at 300 subscribers 3 months ago. So we're going to do the gift card giveaway. I will do it fairly. I'll just plug in the word win. I'll plug in the link to this episode once it's up. And then you guys will watch it as it selects a random person. You don't have to be present to qualify to win, but you do have to contact me in a way that proves you are the owner of that YouTube channel. And that's easy enough to do. I can tell you how to do that when you get in touch with me. So, yeah, just put win somewhere in there. Just say, hey, I want to win. Great show. I hope I win. Something like that. As long as the word win is in there, not on the live stream. Now, I don't know if wine will work. I saw somebody say that. I don't know if wine cuts it. But win will qualify. All right, let me get to the opening statement. We'll get to the rest of the news of the day. There's a lot going on. Here we go. The United States criminal justice system ultimately rests entirely on one fundamental reality. Everyone who appears before it is presumed to be innocent until the court proves that person guilty. From this reality flows to the accused a certain number of rights. You have the right to avoid self-incrimination. In other words, you are under no obligation to participate in the government's attempt to convict you. This is commonly referred to as the right to remain silent, but it goes far beyond mere silence. It's a very broad right. And the Supreme Court has deemed it fundamental. In felonies, broadly speaking, you have the right to an attorney and the right to a jury trial. Like most all rights, you can waive them, but you do have a right to them. Courts can go to great lengths to preserve both rights. They can and do go to great lengths to preserve both rights. Lawyers typically are assigned to potential defendants, for example, at the very earliest stages to offer counsel and advice. If a potential defendant cannot afford an attorney, courts will provide attorneys to defendants at little to no cost. Judges will bring in, if necessary, large panels of potential jurors in an effort to find jurors who swear they can be impartial and judge the case solely on the facts and law as set forth in the courtroom. When courts deem there is too high of a likelihood that a fair and impartial jury is impossible in a given court case, they can transfer that case somewhere else where the likelihood of a fair and impartial jury meets the requisite standard. All of this is done because of that fundamental reality we referenced earlier. A person before the criminal justice system is considered innocent until proven guilty. This right to a fair and impartial jury does not mean that the entire public must be unaware of the crime before the jury is selected and sworn in to serve on the case. Many crimes get tremendous amounts of media coverage. The homes of high-profile defendants are often staked out for days, weeks, or months. In-depth coverage can range from newspaper articles in smaller crimes to 24/7 cable news coverage for more notorious crimes. Court TV, for example, exists. TV shows, documentary filmmakers, and lately, social media influencers and podcasters do deep dives into crimes while the defendants are waiting on their trial. For example, let's review former Fox News host and current podcaster Megyn Kelly's YouTube coverage of the Bryan Kohberger case she produced prior to Kohberger entering a guilty plea before his scheduled trial. It looked something like this. This is her YouTube feed before his trial. And keep in mind, he only pled guilty 6 months ago. So before this, she had, is it possible he had an accomplice? Well, we're told asking whether Tyler Robinson is solely responsible is somehow undermining the case. Megyn Kelly made that case recently. Why did Dylan Mortensen wait more than 7 hours before calling for help? Well, that's an interesting question, but doesn't that call into question whether or not Bryan Kohberger solely was responsible? And on it goes. The major problem with the barely there DNA. She's undermining the case against Bryan Kohberger. She revealed he had a unique alibi, again, undermining the fact that he might be guilty. The challenge prosecutors face about the DNA, undermining the chance that Bryan Kohberger might not be guilty. And it goes on and on. This was Megyn Kelly's YouTube feed before he pled guilty. And that's one reason, why it's shocking to me that Megyn Kelly gets frustrated on her show with people investigating whether Tyler Robinson is responsible for the death of Charle Kirk. She's pushing the Fed slop narrative as hard as anyone these days. She recently had an entire portion of her show where she ran down the list of evidence that purports to point to Tyler Robinson as the lone gunman and probably, she says, the lone person responsible for what happened to Charle Kirk. And she told anyone who's not doing that to stop. But that's not what she did in the case of Bryan Kohberger. And Megyn Kelly hardly is alone. TPUSA employees, speakers at TPUSA events, mainstream right-wingers, anyone wanting to run the Fed slop train to easy cash, they're all pushing out nearly daily messages stating with absolute certainty that the evidence against Tyler Robinson is overwhelming, that he alone is responsible. I find that position nonsensical. But they won't hear of any other possibility. They point to things like Tyler Robinson's DNA being found on the trigger of the gun. When at first blush, that sounds terrible. Why would your DNA be on the trigger of the gun or any other part of the gun? Well, your DNA is probably on the trigger of your gun. Your DNA is probably on other parts of guns you own. And if someone planted your gun at the crime scene, is that definitive proof you're guilty of a murder that might have occurred there? No, of course not. And so why are we pointing to something so weak? The same goes for the DNA on the towel. My DNA is all over every one of my towels. You grab a towel out of my dirty clothes hamper, it's going to have my DNA on it. I wash my arms, I wash my hair, wash under the old armpits. My DNA is all over my towel. Yours is all over your towels. And Tyler Robinson's DNA was all over his towels. If you wanted to set Tyler Robinson up, grab his gun, grab his towel, put him at the scene, and all of a sudden his DNA there. That doesn't mean he did it. It doesn't mean he pulled the trigger. That's nonsensical. It's absolutely nonsensical. What about Tyler Robinson turning himself in? People turn themselves in for all sorts of reasons short of being guilty. And fearing a violent end at the hands of police who are convinced you're guilty, that's often the primary motivation. So that doesn't hold water with me. But even still, even though I disagree with most all of their points, I still don't think they should be quiet. I don't think there's value in suppressing their speech. Unfortunately, they disagree vehemently when it comes to my own speech, as well as the speech of people like Candace Owens, Ian Carroll, and others. Especially when that speech doubts whether Tyler Robinson is solely responsible for Charle Kirk's death. They claim we're going to intentionally or otherwise taint the jury pool. And I suppose that means they fear Tyler Robinson could get a not guilty verdict. The only reason that might happen, their reasoning goes, is because the trial wouldn't have been conducted fairly. Get it? They foreclose the possibility that Tyler Robinson actually isn't guilty. They refuse to believe, at least publicly they'll say they refuse to believe he didn't do it. And that's why they have no issue whatsoever with trashing Tyler Robinson at every turn, with stating with certainty Tyler Robinson actually, absolutely, and solely is responsible. And that's why they continually provide long lists of cherry-picked and biased evidence. They say loudly leads to only one conclusion, and that conclusion is that Tyler Robinson solely is responsible and must be held accountable. They ignore all other evidence and call it a conspiracy theory. And that's why they call him a monster. That's why they call loudly for the death penalty. Even supposed Catholics like Jack Posobiec and Matt Walsh, who otherwise pretend to be very good Catholics, but completely ignore the Catholic catechism and the teaching of the Catholic Church on the death penalty. It's disgusting. Follow your religion. Pick one and go with it. I don't care what it is. Pick one, and when you pick one, go with it. Here's the dirty little secret. It's not going to taint the jury pool. Nothing you or I or Candace Owens or anyone else says between now and the trial date would taint the jury pool. Just like nothing Jack Posobiec or Matt Walsh or Megyn Kelly or Allie Beth Stuckey says will taint the jury pool. The jury pool is already tainted. Google will taint it. X will taint it. YouTube will taint it. Whoever ends up in that jury pool will be swimming around in tainted waters. Their outrage isn't about the pool being tainted. That's not why the Fed slop narrative pushers are upset. It's about stacking the deck. It's about tainting the pool with their preferred narratives. Don't buy their holier-than-thou narratives. There's nothing holy about them on this issue. They're heavily invested in a Tyler Robinson guilty verdict. I'm heavily invested in the truth about what happened to Charle Kirk. If the truth leads back to Tyler Robinson, then I hope he's convicted. As of right now, I'm not convinced. And because I'm not convinced, I'm going to keep looking into it. And you guys are welcome to join me as I do. And tonight I want to go over the big meeting in Nashville, Tennessee. We don't know a lot about it, but I'll share with you my thoughts on it because I didn't have really time. It broke. The news of the meeting broke while I was on the air last night. I really didn't have time to think about it. So we'll talk a little bit about that, speculate. I'll check continually to see whether or not Erika Kirk's flight takes off so that we know the meeting definitively is over. And then I want to begin my first little dive into the surgeon, Lee Trotter, the doctor who allegedly tried to save Charle Kirk's life on September 10th. Dr. Trotter is a key witness in this case. People forget that. They're going to talk about gunfire. That's sexy testimony. They're going to talk about the witnesses at the scene. That's sexy testimony. That's the kind of stuff they talk about if this was a TV trial, made for TV movie. Or if this was a Hollywood thriller, that's the type of testimony that you would really key in on. That's the fun stuff. The not so sexy stuff is the treating physician. I want to talk about him because if it goes to trial, his testimony is going to be essential to whether Tyler Robinson is found guilty or not guilty, and no one's talking about him. So I want to begin peeling back the layer. I've got a ton of research into this doctor. I don't want to hit you with it all at once, but I want to hit on a couple of items relative to the good doctor. I also want to take a look at a couple of clips from today from the TPUSA team. These are clips they put out today. I'm not stealing them. One is about roof access, and it's unbelievably misleading. It's dishonest. And I want to show you just how dishonest these people are when they talk about this case. And by these people, I don't mean only the TPUSA people. I mean there's surrogates out there doing the dirty work. And there's another clip we'll look at tonight that indicates we might have a tall, dark, and handsome viewer from Santa Barbara watching the program. If we do, hello, Andrew Colvett. Nice to have you with us. We'll probably end the night on that discussion. So, Andrew, hold please. Hold please. But first, the big meeting. This is, did you say Candace just tweeted? Did I see somebody say that? Let me look at that real quick because that'll obviously take priority if that's accurate. Let me see if I can find that. Yep, 2 minutes ago. I will pull it up. So stand with us. Here, hold please. There we are. Erica and I had an extremely productive 4.5-hour meeting that I think we both feel should have taken place a lot earlier than it did. We agreed much more than I anticipated. Of course, we also disagreed on various points and people as well. More importantly, we were able to share intel and clarify intent. I will, of course, have a full rundown for you all tomorrow as I'm currently exhausted, but I wanted to quickly let you guys know that absolutely nothing was held back, and the immediate result was that tensions were thawed. Well, isn't that good news? I think that's excellent news. Here are my thoughts on it. I want to share with you kind of what I anticipated would come from this meeting. And this is maybe slightly different, but not entirely different. I'm going to leave this up for a minute for those of you who are viewing and listening to me at the same time. So I want to leave this up so you can read it. But here was kind of my thoughts on it. They have spent 90 days bashing Candace Owens in particular over the head. They first tried to ignore her. That was step one. Step one was, let's ignore Candace Owens. That didn't work. Step two was, let's call Candace Owens names. First, we'll call her unintelligent. Well, that didn't work because most people know she's a pretty sharp individual. That's a losing argument to call Candace Owens not very smart. So that's a loser. Step three, after smart didn't work, then we went to she's crazy or stupid. Stupid was number two. So first was ignore. Number two was stupid. Number three was she's insane. This girl is crazy. I saw words like schizophrenic. I saw words like needs to be locked away for her own good. Step four, then they went to number four. They went to evil. Candace Owens and others, and I guess by implication, Ian Carroll and me and Valhalla and Ryan Matta and Blake Bednards and everybody else who's been covering this. That was the next one was she's evil. And then they just unleashed and started saying horrible things. Not just she's evil, but like cussing, yelling, screaming. You remember the Tim Pool rant recently. There have been others. None of it worked. They were losing control of the narrative. It was spinning out of control every single day. So step six, believe it or not, they've got to step six. We've got to put Erika on a media blitz. Now, this is old media thinking. This is very old media thinking. Old media used to be able to control almost any narrative by going on Fox News or MSNBC or CNN. You could almost control any media narrative. So if, go back to Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton had his issue with Monica Lewinsky. What did he do? He went on CBS News. He went on NBC. I did not have sexual, he did it. And he was able to some extent to control the confines of the narrative. He left office less than 2 years later with very high ratings. What they found out this week, and it was an exhaustive blitz. We covered all the shows Erika Kirk was on this week. She did basically a show or two every single day last week, capping a big Saturday primetime show on network news, CBS, big CBS, not like a cable channel. They expected millions of people to tune in. I don't know how it turned out. But what they learned in this is it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore. Nobody cares what Barry Weiss has to say. Nobody. Nobody cares what Fox News has to say. They've lost all credibility. Fox News lost credibility with me, actually a little before the 2020 election. But during the 2020 election, when Fox News was the very first organization to call a Joe Biden victory in Arizona, thus ending the count and declaring Joe Biden the president, and then I started attacking anyone who said that they thought the election looked a little suspicious, they lost all credibility with me. But over the last 4, 5, 6 years, programs like this, certainly programs like Candace on her last program, I went and looked at her last few programs, 2.5+ million people a night, every single night. That's one platform, YouTube. She's on multiple platforms, Apple, Spotify, I don't know. She's on a bunch of platforms. She's getting millions and millions and millions, multiple times more coverage than anybody on cable news. They just can't get there. They just can't control the narrative anymore. It's not happening. It's impossible for it to happen. And so now we're at step 7. We started at step 1, ignore Candace. Now we're at step 7, and Erika Kirk is in Candace's living room. Do you see how it's happened? This is unprecedented in the history of news coverage. Do you understand the victory you as an audience have won on this issue? I don't care what happens to Tyler Robinson. I don't care if he ends up getting convicted. I don't care if he wins or loses. I just hope truth is done. I hope justice is done. I hope if he's convicted that he did it. I do hope that. But do you understand what has happened on this program, on Ian Carroll's program, on Candace's program, and so many other people, even small creators that are talking to 30, 50 people a night? That was me for a long time until the last 3 months. I did a lot of podcasts. I mean, I've marked them all private because I talked a lot about my family, and I don't necessarily want to invite you guys all into my living room. But do you understand what we've done? They had 6 steps trying to crush this story. It started with ignore. It started with call crazy. Or it went to call crazy. It went to call, evil. It went to call, and it ended up with, we're going to do a Fox News media blitz. Then we're going to end up on CBS in a town hall, and we're going to kill it. And they finished, and they thought, we're still losing. We're still losing. And step 7 was, we got to fly her. We have to fly her to Nashville. No, it's not over. I saw someone say that. No, it's not over. Not over at all. Not for me. Trial's not over. I'm not convinced of what happened. I've posited the last few weeks that I mean, the last few shows, rather, I posited that it looks to me like there's some sort of electrical charge. I have a lot more on that. And there's physics that we haven't talked about. There's electricity, how electricity flows we haven't talked about. There's some kind of explosion under a shirt. It just happens. I know things that I've not shared with you guys that I've got to run down. I'm trying to get in touch with a Hollywood makeup artist, if that tells you where I'm headed. Because I see something in one of these images. It's not his neck, but I see something in one of these images, and I've got to talk to an expert. And when I do, I will bring that information to you because that's how this works. That's how this works. We don't answer to them anymore. They answer to us. That's what happened today. When Erika Kirk's plane was in the air flying across flyover country from Arizona to Nashville, you know what that was? That was a giant white flag of defeat for the way the news used to work. It was a giant green flag of victory going up for the way for the way it works now. I don't know if you guys know this. I probably shouldn't do this because I'll never get this camera right again. I'm going to show you something that I don't think there's too much family stuff over there. It's a little messy over there. I'm going to show you what hangs over my office up here. You see that? You see that giant flag? That's a little bit what this feels like. It's a little bit what this feels like. That's a little bit what this feels like. We're hoisting the black and white Jolly Roger, and we're taking our country back. We're taking the news back. We're not letting them get away with this anymore. If they want to own the narrative, it goes through Candace's living room. It goes through this office. It goes through wherever Ian is in America. He's constantly on the move. You can't ever tie him down. That's the way it works now. You guys won. You win. You guys won. Now, I don't know how Candace covers this from now on. It says, her tweet says, that they agreed on a lot more than she anticipated they would. Okay, good. I hope so. I don't want to be crossways with anyone. I'm also not going to eat your Fed slop, though. I'm not going to eat your fed slop. I don't mind at all being peaceful with people. Like I said, I got an image today, or a video today, and I saw Andrew Colvett in the comments on a post I put up today. I think he was on that one. I think it was him. They have to come through us if they want to control the narrative. So I don't know how she's going to cover it. I don't know what she's going to do. I know how I'm going to cover it. I'm going to still look for the truth. I have a whole bunch of material I intend to go through. And it's not a slow roll issue. I had someone email me and accuse me of slow rolling this. It's not about slow rolling it at all. That's not the point. That's not what we're doing here. You know what we're doing here? We're winning. We're winning. If we show everything all at once, you know what they do? It gets lost in the noise. They pick the one thing they feel like they can refute, and they focus on that. Bang, 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 bang. Have you guys not figured that out yet? If you give the other side too much at once, they'll just hang you on that one thing you said wrong. Happens all the time. It's a very common public relations mistake. Don't do that. Don't do that. Keep them on the defense. Roll it out slowly, one at a time. Bang, 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 bang. Roll it out slowly. Guys, we're winning. Anyone who views anything that's happened to this point as a setback to the people of the United States or the people of the world, 30% of our audience, believe it or not, is outside the United States, or at least they're on VPNs that suggest they're outside the United States. This is a victory for the people. Do you know why I have populists up here at the top? The guy in the middle is not so populist-y anymore. He used to be. You roll things out one at a time. Roll things out one at a time. All right. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. I don't know where Candace Owens goes from here, but I know where I'm going from here. I have a very convincing argument in my mind that Charle Kirk was taken down by a very sophisticated plot. A very sophisticated plot. One of the key components of that plot was the general surgeon who they took Charle Kirk to. And I want to introduce you to Dr. Lee DuPont Trotter. His name is Lee DuPont Trotter. You cannot make this stuff up if you had to. His middle name is DuPont. Now, do I think he's, got a vacation home in Rehoboth Beach and hanging out with the big DuPont family in Wilmington at happy hour? No, I don't think that at all. But I very much think that this guy needs to be evaluated, because the more I research this guy, the more questions I have. So let me roll just a couple of minutes. This is a long video. We're not watching 58 minutes, 39 seconds. We're probably not even going to watch 2 full minutes. But I do want to show you the intro here, because you have to understand my thought process on this guy and why I have concerns about him as the doctor. And it starts with this video.
About health and wellness to the community.
We don't have volume. Hold, please. Hold on. Why don't I have volume? Oh, I know. Hold on. Oh, gosh, that's why. I got a bad echo. Hold on, let me try that now. All right, here we go. Let's try it again. I think we've got it fixed.
Joining me today is my guest, Dr. Lee Trotter. Friend of mine. We have lunch together sometimes at the hospital and talk a lot. And today we happen to be wearing matching scrubs. That's funny. Dr. Trotter is a board-certified general surgeon, specializing also in pediatric surgery and bariatric surgery. Graduated from Western University Health Sciences with a residency internship at Kessler U.S. Air Force Base Medical Center. Where's that at?
That's located in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Let's go.
It's the largest Air Force base.
Uh-huh.
So what he's saying here is he's an Air Force trained doctor. Now, My stepfather was an Air Force trained doctor. He was a good man. He was not out there, causing all kinds of problems. That being in the Air Force doesn't mean you're an evil person. I'm just pointing out that this is something that drew my attention. But let me keep going here because it's the next minute or so of the conversation that really drew my attention.
Country.
Okay.
So it's a large teaching base and hospital there.
Is that what inspired your passion for flying and for airplanes and stuff?
No, that predate. In fact, I know it's a little bit off topic, but I couldn't decide if I wanted to be a doctor or a pilot. So ultimately, I just did both. so anyway, I'd like to say the physician side of me allowed me to finance my other passion. But that's all I do now. It's I doctor and fly.
Yeah,
that's it.
Do you use your airplane to fly to different locations?
I
to
do.
Doctor?
I do a lot of consulting, and so I do go from here to there. If I can stay out of the airports, the commercial big airports and TSA, I'm a lot happier.
All right, so this is key to me, and I'm going to show you why in just a moment. This is very key to me, and I'm going to show you why. Couple of things to know about Dr. Trotter real quickly, and I think that's all we're going to show with this video. There's one more thing I'd like to show this video actually, but I'm gonna drop it for right now. This guy is a pilot / doctor. He said, I couldn't decide if I wanted to be a pilot or doctor, so I do both. I fly my plane everywhere. I don't want to go into the commercial lines. I stay out of commercial airports. Okay. Duly noted. I happened to look up his plane. He owns an airplane. I don't want to show you that part because it's got his home address on it. Here is his airplane. So let me pull this up. He's got a nice little airplane. It's a little Mooney airplane. Let me make this a little bigger for you guys so you can see what's going on here. This data goes back a year. I've got the 1 year subscription. I'm not rich like Ian. I'm just kidding about that. But I can't drop the big money on the big 3 year subscription. I got the 1 year subscription. But there is a flight in his personal aircraft every single month going back to December 24th, except for one. Does anyone want to guess what month he was not in the air? Every single month. So we have flights in December. We have flights in January. Here, I'll just go like this so you can see a little easier. We've got flights in December of 24. We've got flights in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. You guys want to guess what happens at the end of August? He doesn't fly anywhere in September. He flies nowhere in September. In fact, he flies from, he has an office in Lewiston. We'll look at that in a second. Lewiston, Idaho, I think. So he flies from Gooding to Lewiston to somewhere. Transponder goes dark, but then he ends up in Idaho Falls. So I'm assuming he went Lewiston to Idaho Falls. He leaves Idaho Falls, goes to Rexburg, back to Idaho Falls to his office location in Lewiston, and then he disappears. What else do you notice by this, though? Where is he never? Here he's there once in June. Here he's there once in May. Another time in May. There a few times in May, but you come up here to now he's not back in Provo again until October 28th. Where was he in September? He had not been in Provo since August 17th, and he's not back in Provo until August 28th. How was he working at the hospital? He said he doesn't like to take commercial flights. That's possible he did take a commercial flight. But no September flights? Let me, just so you know that this is unusual, we did every month of August. We missed September. Then we have October. We have November. And we have December. But we have no flights in September. No flights in September. So let's go back to the audio. There might be another explanation. Perhaps there's another explanation. Let's go back to the video for just a second. He does make one more comment. This is how I was able to find not only his first plane, but his second plane.
That is funny.
But yeah.
What got you into the flying piece?
You know what? I flew airplanes as far as I can back as remember, little toy ones. I'd fly around in the space and 100% perfect landings, you know, on my desk and stuff. And then it turned into radio controlled planes, and then ultimately sitting in a real plane. And it's
cool.
a lot of fun.
That's
And
really
it's
cool.
So much fun.
Huh.
So
do you just small prop, big prop? What do you?
well,
think?
I've owned a variety of planes, and each plane has a different mission. But you know, and my family was large. I had 5 children and my wife, so that's 7 of us. I needed a big twin to fit everybody, and then I've kind of downsized when the kids moved out. And so I currently have a plane called a Mooney. It's a single engine, 4-passenger, but it's a pretty quick little airplane to get me from location.
So he has the Mooney. That's the plane we were just looking at. Now listen to this. There's one more.
The location, and then I've got we call a bush plane. It's a Cub, a high wing with great big cartoon looking tires on it that allows me to land in the middle of a field or up in the mountains, typically.
So I hear that. I see that he has no flights in September on the Mooney. I was able to easily find the Mooney. So I thought, well, let's go looking for the bush plane. I looked up on the FAA. I will show you this because I won't have to show you his address to show you this much. That plane, the plane we were just looking at, it was registered, you'll notice down here, to Lee D. Trotter, D.O. That's his corporation, professional corporation. Lee D. Trotter, D.O. That's his professional corporation. So I figured if he owns 2 planes, surely both planes are owned by the same company. So I keep looking. I cannot find another plane. I scour the FAA website. I cannot find another plane to Trotter. So I heard he had a bush plane. So I looked up, what is a bush plane? What is a Cub? I landed on the fact that it's probably this thing called a PA-18. So I go to Google and I look up PA-18 Lee Trotter. This is desperation mode here. You'll see my Google search up here, PA-18 Lee Trotter. Lo and behold, I find this image. You click on it, and you can take a private airplane tour with Lee Trotter. And I'm thinking, maybe it's the same Lee Trotter. Here's the problem. You can't see that tail number. Oh, wait a minute. You guys didn't change windows with me when I clicked. So let me go over here. This was the website I was just talking about. Those are the cartoonishly large. So it's this, you get to bid on an opportunity to go fly with a guy named Lee Trotter. I figured maybe it's him. So I look up, but you can't see the tail number. The picture's too small. See this right here? You can't see the tail number. So I send this picture to a professional friend of mine, photographer, who enhances the tail, and we make some educated guesses on like maybe 10 different numbers it could be. I look up all 10 tail numbers, and sure enough, I find a hit. I find a hit right here on, where is it here? It's N415T. N415T. I closed that one out, but let me open it up. Now, this is interesting to me because you remember the other one was registered to Dr. Lee Trotter or whatever, right? Not this one. Not this one. This one's registered to some random organization. This one is registered to Landing Adventures, DBA. And if you scroll down here, it has other owner names, Stephanie Trotter. I'm assuming that's his wife. I thought that's weird. Why would you have, you got your one plane, your main plane is in your own name, your own professional corporation name. It's, well, wonder if we can track it. So I go to start tracking in 14.5 and look what we find. I come up against a dead end. This plane, there's no location history. Well, is it there's no location history because they don't fly it anywhere? Is there no location history because they've blocked your ability to track it? I click on another website, and sure enough, it's not available for public tracking per request from the owner operator. Now, this is a little unusual for a small outfit like this. It's a very small airplane. It's a two-seater. It might be a four-seater, but it looked like a two-seater on that picture. Why are you blocking the tracking? I mean, not a lot of people block tracking. It's not a very common thing. And so I wonder, you know, this is a bush plane. He says he owns it so he can get high up on the mountains and go camping. But I wonder if that plane was flown at all during September or August. Was there anybody who flew into that area? So we have an idea of where he's based out of, right? He's based out of Utah. And here's some of the other places he's licensed. Let me show you this here. This is Lee Trotter's license. He's based out of Utah. That's his license there. It's good through 2026. But he's also licensed in Idaho, and he has a clinic up there in Lewiston, Idaho, or some sort of surgical site in Lewiston, Idaho. And he has an active license through the end of the year in South Dakota, but it doesn't look like he's planning to renew that. I don't know. Maybe he is. Then he's got all these expired licenses, which weirds me out a little bit. I'm always a little weirded out when doctors let their licenses expire in other states, but it happens. It's not completely unheard of. But you notice he moves around a lot. It moves around a lot. Wyoming, way out on the East Coast in Virginia, Nevada, Wisconsin. He was in Wisconsin at some point for a little while. Now Utah, he was in South Dakota for a while, obviously a long while. I think he's from South Dakota, or maybe his parents lived there. But you'll notice if you looked at a map and you looked at Idaho and Utah and South Dakota, Nevada, Wyoming, they're all circled right there around the Rocky Mountain areas. I'm not saying this is what happened, but there was a flight into Colorado that drew my attention in August, late August, and there was another flight in mid-September into Colorado that drew my attention. And if you had a plane that wasn't able to be tracked, we wouldn't be able to tell whether his plane simultaneously was there. That's all. Of course, people could take a commercial plane to those locations, and you wouldn't be able to track that either. But we do have him on the record saying he doesn't like that, and he avoids that if he can. And so that's what we know of Lee Trotter to this point. Hold on. Actually, I have a little bit more. I want to show you something interesting here. This drew my attention. I could not help this. And I don't know whether this is even true. I don't know how closely they follow this. But here's Dr. Lee DuPont Trotter, pediatric surgery, general surgery. This is obviously registered to his Lewiston, Idaho, St. Joseph Hospital location. But watch this. You scroll down. Look at the languages he speaks. Why does he speak 5 languages? How many people do you know in America that speak 5 languages? I don't know any. But he does speak French. I know French has become an issue. I don't know anyone who speaks 5 languages. I don't know any general surgeons who speak 5 languages. That's a little interesting to me, who move all over the place like that. And there's one more thing I want to show you here about Dr. Lee DuPont Trotter. And I hesitate to even show this, but I think it's important. Because it could, I think it's important. Did they take it down? Oh, that's interesting. There was a comment on this video. An emailer emailed me and showed me this comment on this video. And now I'm not seeing it. That's interesting. Well, I will try to find that and present it another time, because it was a pretty damning comment. A pretty damning comment about Lee Trotter's history and maybe why he moves around quite so much. But I thought that was always very interesting. When I looked at that, I thought, okay, we've got a military trained physician who likes to travel around a lot, who has 2 planes of his own. One can't be tracked. He's in the right place. He's got, staff privileges in Orem. What I would like to know, if I'm, Tyler Robinson's defense team, and that's kind of how I'm approaching all of my coverage. If I'm Tyler Robinson's defense team and I'm doing this research, this is the stuff I would be doing if I was representing him. If I'm Tyler Robinson's defense team, I'm now interviewing people at that hospital saying, how often is Dr. Lee Trotter in this hospital? And on what occasions does he come here? Does he come here when he's scheduled? He has a patient scheduling him? Because it looks to me like someone said it landed in Utah at the 3rd of September. I didn't see that. I'll have to go back and find that. If you can find that, send that to me, because I certainly did not see that. I did not see any September flights. But it looks to me like he practices in Idaho more than he practices in Utah. And if that's the case, what was he doing in Utah on that day? Does he keep regular hours? Is he there like 1 week a month and it rotates regularly and we have some kind of predictability? It's N815T is the tail number. N815T is the tail number. So that's kind of the question. Like, as a defense lawyer, I now want to talk to people at the hospital about Dr. Trotter in light of everything we just discovered. I want to know, how often is Dr. Trotter in Utah? I don't see a flight in Utah. Maybe it's on one service, but not another. It's not on Flight Radar. Let me try Flight Aware. And I want to ask, when he comes to town, does he fly his own plane or does he fly commercial? Do you know? I mean, a lot of doctors will tell you stuff like that. A lot of doctors will tell you stuff like that. All right, so that kind of, I just wanted to open the conversation about Lee Trotter. He's an important witness, and it is critical we understand exactly why it is Lee Trotter is paying any attention whatsoever, why we're paying any attention whatsoever to Lee Trotter in this case. And again, as a defense lawyer, I definitely want to hear from Lee Trotter. I definitely want to hear from those around Lee Trotter. I want to ask these questions. So that's kind of topic number one. Topic number two, I want to get to, no, not that video yet. That's the video that they give away that they're probably listening to us. This is the video I want to show now. This is Andrew Colvett. This is Blake Neff Speed. And they are talking to Gary from Paramount Tactical about the investigation of the crime scene, the investigation of Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. Gary, actually, much to his credit, went there. And not a lot of people did. Ian went there. Gary went there. A few others. What's the guy's name? Stephen Gardner went there. A few people went there. And they should be commended because, hey, laying out your own money and doing on-site reporting in another state, it's expensive. It's time-consuming. It's time away from home. It's time away from your family. But I want to listen to this real quickly. I want you guys to hear this discussion, and then I want to say how dishonest it is. The entire discussion. The entire discussion to me is completely dishonest. But I want you to hear this.
Gary, tell us what you saw when you visited UVU.
Yeah, so one of the things that I wanted to do while I was there at the time, there was a lot of different conspiracies. We had the palm gun, we had different shooters in different locations. And what I thought was really important to do was go there. Number one, talk to eyewitnesses. I talked to multiple eyewitnesses while I was there. They had very, very similar stories. The other thing that I did while I was there was I actually flew a drone. And what we did was a 3D map survey of the campus. And we have since built a 3D model of that's interactive. People can download it for free. It's on my X account. And that way people can kind of see what is possible, what has lines of sight. And I knew just from what people were saying that some of these theories that they were putting out just weren't possible. I knew there was no line of sight. And then on top of that, I just wanted to get some hard ground truth and see what was going on. And
So everything he says here is wonderful. This is great journalism, and Gary should be commended for doing all this at his own expense, or maybe a donor gave him money or whatever, but it's time away from home. He went, he took the technology to 3D map the place, and then he offered it for free. A lot of people wouldn't do that. He offered for free. All you got to do is download it and you can play with it. It's great technology. Everything here should be commended. Gary should be commended. We're not to the dishonest part yet.
This case was important to me. I was a big fan of Charlie's, felt personal. And I think, if you're going to get to the truth, you need to get there. You need to talk to some people and you need to see the ground truth. And, that's kind of what we did.
I want to defend Gary for a second too. I hear a lot of people calling him a Fed in the thing. I don't like the Fed jacket people. It's possible. Let me give Gary the benefit of the doubt here. It's wholly 100% possible that Gary's adjacency to federal agents that train at the same location where his business is set up just rubs off on him. I mean, the Secret Service, I think, trains there. There's some other federal agents that train there. It's kind of not terribly far from the Washington, D.C. Area there. So it's possible that when you hang around a bunch of pizza people, you think pizza is the greatest food of all time. You hang around a bunch of golfers, you think, well, why wouldn't everybody golf? You hang around a bunch of Fed agents all day long at your business, you might think Feds are the most honest, trustworthy people of all time. And so he might come off that way. I'm defending him. I'm not defending what he's about to say. I'm going to pull that up again and we're going to listen to it because I think it's intentionally dishonest. I hope it's not.
Yeah, and there's a video here, Gary. I'm just going to show it really quick so people can see how easy it ultimately was to get on this rooftop access point, 133.
All right, folks. So here's the stairs. They go to the roof. Wow. This wall is about maybe 3 feet tall. All right, so right there is the shooting position. It's about 200 feet away from there. You don't need to be Spiderman. As a matter of fact, you don't even need arms.
Has anyone yet said he needed to be Spiderman to get into the shooting position? Has anyone said that? Has anyone said that Tyler Robinson or anyone else who was on that roof, if it wasn't Tyler Robinson, has there been a single contention from anyone that you had to be Spider-Man in order to get to that position? Not one person on the planet. No one believes Tyler Robinson scaled windows like Spider-Man in order to get in the shooting position. And if Gary believes people said that, then he's not paying attention, which would explain to me why he's wrong. It would explain to me why Gary doesn't understand the evidence that we're talking about, and he so easily dismisses it. This is an indictment on Gary's dismissal. If I went out there and I just swooshed away all Gary's argument with some nonsensical position he's never raised, he would have every right to look at me and think I'm a hack and think, or at least think I'm coming off half-cocked. No one said that you had to be Spider-Man to get up there. We'll continue.
You can literally get up there if you didn't have arms.
Wow.
That's a good visual. That's a good visual. So just from your knowledge across the spectrum and your own visits, do you feel there's any misconceptions that you're seeing repeated over and over and over again that have spread really far that, in your opinion, are pretty easily debunked or opposed?
Yeah, there's been a cycle of people taking very normal things or maybe even slightly abnormal and then turning them into suspicious items, right? One of the things that really struck me on the ground there was exactly how easy this entire thing was. Before I went there, one of the things that was being portrayed was like this was, some big conspiracy. It's very complex. You need professional hitmen. It's 140 yards. It's so far, all these things. Now, I knew the distances was nothing, especially for a scoped rifle. I mean, that is, my 8-year-old son was going to courses with us shooting 1,200 yards. It's not hard.
Was his 8-year-old son shooting a 110-year-old Mauser 98 that had been through World War I? and sat around for the last 105 years since the war ended? Was your 8-year-old or 12-year-old, whatever he said, was his son shooting that 110-year-old Mauser that he had just screwed back together in seconds? Was your 110-year-old, was your 8-year-old son shooting from a prone position on gravel without sandbags and without a tripod? Was your 8-year-old son experiencing the adrenaline dump of getting ready to take a man's life? Because if not, your 8-year-old son experience off of sandbags or a tripod with a completely different weapon that had been sighted in for him at 1,200 yards, or at least sighted in at some known distance. You know what I did this week? I'm going to come back to this in a second. I went to a sporting goods store that has ammunition. And if you pick up any box of rifle ammunition, you look on the back and it tells you, like, they'll all say at 0, it's 0 inches. And what that means is at 100 yards, it's 0 inches, or 100 yards is 0 inches. And what that means is if you zero this rifle in at 100 yards, you're going to get 0 inches of drop. And then some, like if you look at a 300 blackout, it'll have like 35 inches of drop at 200 yards. They might have 9 or 10 inches of drop at 200 yards, and then another 35 inches of drop. So it's not a guarantee when you hop up there at 142 yards. It's not a guarantee you know exactly where to aim. Especially when you grab a 110-year-old World War I battle-tested Mauser 98 that you just screwed back together, allegedly. So it's nonsensical. The whole thing is nonsensical. The whole thing is absolutely asinine, if you ask me. It's just not possible, but they act like it's by far the easiest explanation, and any other explanation makes absolutely no sense. It's far more, it makes far more sense to them that this guy would get up there and in 2 seconds lay down, take a lucky shot, and run off. And he hits the Spiderman thing again here in a second. I'm going to play this because I want to show you how dishonest it is that they come back to this talking point. And this is supposed to be talking to stupid people, to keep them stupid.
And then once you see the layout of the campus, looking at it from a security standpoint, unfortunately, it was a real challenge. Once the information was out that this was the location, and then on top of that, once you look at the UVU courtyard, it is channelized. It's obvious where any sort of speaker is going to be. So, the thing that shocked me the most was how easy this was. And then once we get into coming back and then hearing things like, hey, you know what, you need to be Spider-Man, or people think that you have to have some sort of special access or that you have to climb up to the roof, when in reality, you walk right up to the roof. The pathway that goes in between buildings is level with the roof. And the only thing that separates that walkway from the roof is, a 3-foot guardrail that you just step over, and now you have access.
Again, nobody said you had to be Spider-Man to climb on the roof. Nobody. And the fact that they're pushing that Fed slop narrative as if it's true, as if people were actually saying that, is silly. Yes, I agree with you, Gary. Anybody in America who's capable of walking, anybody under the age of 99 probably could access the roof. As long as they're not a paraplegic. I agree with you. Or a quadriplegic. As long as they have access to their legs and their legs will move up at least this high, they'll be able to climb the stairs. That's not what we're talking about when we say Spider-Man, Gary. So obviously you're not paying attention to what it is we're talking about. This, Gary, is what we're talking about. This is a lot more Spider-Man-ish, if you ask me. This is a lot more Spider-Man-ish. You see the guy running across up here. He's running across the roof. Now watch, they'll zoom in so we can't see the Toyota RAV4, but they'll zoom in here. He throws his bag down. He's got one leg on that roof. No other part of his body is touching it. He's got one leg on that roof. Then he puts the other foot down and one leg down. He steps into a vent. No, right there. He is holding on to that entire roof. Watch this. I'll try to pause it just the right. Boom. He is holding his entire body weight up with one hand on a ledge. He's holding his body weight up with one hand on a ledge. I saw Tyler Robinson in court. Does he look like he's capable of doing that to you? Does he look like it? Is this as simple as just walking up a flight of stairs and stepping over a 3-foot wall? Because, well, anybody who says you got to do Spider-Man is just out of their mind. They don't know what they're talking about. Because all you got to do is walk up a flight of stairs. Gary, you got to also do this. You see that, Gary? Do you see the drop from 15 feet into a full crouch position? Look at that. He has dropped into a full crouch. His rear end is on the grass. Do you know what that did to his knees if he's not trained to take that fall? You know how few people can do that in the world? You know how many of them look like Tyler Robinson? None. None of them. Gary, this is the Spider-Man, and you are being either intentionally deceptive or you don't have a fundamental grasp of our arguments. Therefore, you shouldn't be engaging in them. That's it. I'm not saying you don't have a right to have conversations. I'm saying if you don't have a fundamental grasp of the argument, leave them alone. Leave them alone. There's a lot. I'll be honest with you, Gary. There are a whole lot of arguments you guys and other firearms experts make I'm not qualified to comment on. I don't waste any time on them. There are a lot of things I just don't cover. I don't know. I don't know about them, so I don't cover them. And if I don't sit there and listen to the podcast and hear what they're saying, I'm not going to cover it. Afford us the same courtesy. That's all I'm saying. Afford us the same courtesy. Now, you guys want to know who's watching? You guys want to know who's watching this program and others? See that tall, dark, and handsome fella in the middle? Yeah, I wasn't talking about you, Blake. Sorry. Sorry, Blake. I know when I said tall and dark, you thought I was talking about you. And then I'm not talking about you, Blake. I was talking about Andrew Colvette. He's the heartthrob. I'm buttering him up if he's listening. I got to keep him on our side, people. I think he's on our side. I'll show you why I think that in just a second. Here is what Andrew Colvette had to say about your humble host's latest theory that we're exploring. I'm not positing it on a theory. I'm saying it's my current thing that I'm exploring.
And the newest one.
Did Andrew Colvette look like he didn't believe it? Oh, no sound? Really? Oh, shoot. Are you serious? All right, I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. This is an old radio hack. Y'all are going to love this. Watch this.
And the newest one I heard over the weekend was that it was actually an electrocution, and that the people around him were standing on rubber mats, so they weren't arrested.
Or if you want one that just came up, a bunch of people decided that shooting in Australia was an IDF operation. Oh. So I'm just instantly ran with that one.
Well, everything points back there, I guess. 30 seconds, Viva.
Did you hear that? It sounded to me like Andrew might have bought the electrocution. He never one time said, that's ludicrous. That's absolutely nuts. You know what else? Blake Neff didn't refute it. Is there still no audio? Or are you guys just behind? Is there still some of you I think are just a little bit behind? Because you should have been able to hear it through my mic. Still no sound? Oh, I heard it. Okay, people are saying they heard it. We heard it. I heard it. Okay, so some of you are a little behind. Andrew Colvette here says, the latest I heard over the weekend was that it was an electrocution. Now, he went on to say, well, and the other people didn't get electrocuted, they weren't standing on mats. Or because they were standing on mats. I'm not entirely sure that's the sum total of what was discussed on this program, Andrew, and I think you know that. This gets to that. This is that kind of, well, of course there are no Egyptian planes following me. I've never been on an Egyptian plane. That's the same kind of defense, right? You take something and you answer a part of it that wasn't asked. You address a point we didn't make. And then when we don't make it and you refute it, now you've kind of separated yourself from that argument. You don't have to address the actual merits. But did you notice also Blake Neff never addressed it either? Neither one of them said, oh my gosh, that's ludicrous. Both of them changed the subject. Andrew Colvette just introduced it. Hey, the latest I heard was he was actually electrocuted. And I was fully, when someone sent that to me, an emailer sent that to me. When someone sent that to me, I was fully expecting Andrew Colvette, like when I first heard him say that, I was fully expecting him to say, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He did not. He did not at all. And then Blake Neff kind of made a face, but a lot of people make a face when they're caught with something. You know, I've caught my kids in a lie and they made a face. That doesn't mean anything. Well, then Neff says, no. You know what else they said? They said that the Australia thing was an IDF operation. I've not heard anyone say it's an IDF operation. I've heard a lot of people questioning why there were so many people standing around filming a live shooter in Australia. There seems to be a ton of video evidence of it from people like 20 feet away. If someone's shooting a long arm my direction, I'm running. But I thought that was interesting. Andrew Colvette, baby, come on. The water's warm, Andrew. The water's warm. Come on over. You know that you weren't in on it initially. You know you weren't in on it. I just had a thought. Oh my gosh. I just had a thought. What if the leaking the Israeli text was the misdirection? What if that was the misdirection? What if it was an inside job? We're going to fry him. We're going to hit him with a stun gun when he's down. I'll show you that evidence probably next episode. We're going to fry him. We're going to hit him with a stun gun while he's down. If he survives that, we'll finish him off in the van. We've got all this stuff set up. And we're going to leak some Israeli texts to throw people off our trail so that all these people are going to spend time looking around on all this stuff. And it was either some other country's operation or it was just an internal TPUSA gig. That's interesting. I hadn't even considered that. I don't know that I buy it either. I just figured I'd talk it out loud. Just talk it out loud, ladies and gentle people. Just talking out loud. I did not say I bought it. I did not say I bought it. Let me check the flight radar real quickly. Make sure our good friend Erika got away clean from the Music City. I'll pull this up. You guys can look with me. I don't want to bore you guys to tears while I sift through the evidence here. Let's see here. We'll go to B&A. We'll look at the departure board. We'll go to earlier flights. We'll go back to the 4:30 flight that she had scheduled and see if she is on her way yet. It has departed. Did not depart until 7:41. So she's 30 minutes into the air. There she is. She's over Pocahontas. Well, isn't that ironic? Oh, she's between Pocahontas and Manson. Oh, that's awesome. Golly, that's amazing. Where is she? Northern Arkansas. So bye, Erika. Have fun in Scottsdale. Enjoy your new media tour. Well, that was fun. That was fun, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let me get to some of these chats. Let me say this one more time. If you want to be a part of the $1,000 Amazon gift card giveaway, you do not have to be present to win, but you have to notify me that you have one. And I'll tell you how to do that in a second. But first, how to qualify. Don't say anything on the live chat right now, or you can, but nothing you say on the live chat is going to qualify you. When this video processes, it goes up on YouTube. Like 80% of the people that watch this will see this after the live chat. That's about the numbers. Only about 20% of people see it live. So, or really now it's down to about 10% of the people see it live. So there's 20,600 live. It'll probably end up north of 200,000, give or take. Of those 200,000 people, the vast majority of them, 90% of them will see it on replay. So I can't limit it to just the live chat because they weren't here. When it uploads to YouTube, go back, open it up. You don't have to watch the whole thing. You can. I mentioned the other night I fell asleep to Valhalla. He said he fell asleep to me. I don't know if that makes us too close. Maybe we should never talk. But if you fall asleep to me, just make a comment in there. Just make sure the word win is in there. I would like to win the contest. Hey, great show, win. It doesn't have to be. Just make sure WIN is in there. That will put you in the contest. When we go live next time, it'll probably be Wednesday. If I had to guess, it'll probably be Wednesday night. When we go live next time, I will pull up the selector. I'll show you how it works. It's fair. I have nothing to do with it. It's perfectly random. No fee to enter. It doesn't matter whether you give a super chat or not. It's free. And it will rotate. Now, I say this with one thing. You have to be in the United States to win. So if I select somebody who's from outside the United States, I'm not going to deal with foreign countries on winnings. So just let me know, hey, I'm outside the United States. I can't participate. And if it's for whatever reason illegal to be in a draw like that in your country, then obviously, I mean, in your state, I don't think it is because there's no fee to enter. But if for whatever reason it's illegal, I'm going to select somebody else. And I'll keep selecting somebody until we win. Until we get somebody, even if it takes a few shows. But comment win on this program and you will get it. I'll put it in the description how to do it after the show processes and it will be open. The next time we go live, probably Wednesday night, probably around 6 or 7, we will find the winner. I'll do it as soon as the show opens. I'm not going to hold it to the end. I'm not that way. But we'll do that. $1,000 gift card giveaway. Somebody will have some fun. Do a little Christmas shopping at Amazon with 8 days to go. Spend it all on your kids. If you win and you have kids, spend it all on your kids. Be nice. If you win and you're single, spend it all on yourself. But spend it. Have fun. Don't hold on to it and just fritter it away. Make it lavish. Buy something you would have never bought. And we'll have a good time. Maybe we'll do that again at 200,000. Make it $2,000. We'll see. I don't know. Can't commit to that yet. But again, I'll put it in the description. Wait till the show uploads. Almost midday in Australia. Let's go, Baron. Hey, $8. I'm big in Australia. I don't know why. If you're wondering, the name is an app. And yes, it's available in the US and you should download it. Oh, that was the cheapest advertisement you've ever paid for. What do you think of Erika distracting Candace while TPUSA did their conspiracy special so she couldn't live stream it? I thought about that, but they didn't do the conspiracy special. So it was kind of like even Steven. They just had Gary from Paramount Tactical on to shoot down nonsense. Candace isn't going to stop, but I think it should be fluff from now. I think it's going to be fluff from now on. Well, then there are other people that'll have to pick up the torch. Because I've got a lot of material and I'm not fluffing. I'm not done. Great song. Great $5 donation. Thank you. CK. Oh, CK, like Charle Kirk. CK. I understand where you're going, but I'm stuck on why this requires so much complexity. Involving more people and moving parts dramatically raises risk compared to the shooter narrative. Yes, it does, but it also guarantees a result. I think I'm not ready to tell you yet why I'm going there because I have not yet talked to all the people I need to talk to, and I've not yet got the story stuck in my head. I have an arc I'm following. That's all I can say about it right now. There's an arc I'm following, and as I follow that arc, you'll see where I'm going. That's all I can say. You just got to trust me. Trust your humble host. He will not let you down. I'm nervous. We haven't seen or heard from Candace all day. Yeah, we solved that. We saw that. Doesn't sound like a cease and desist. Thank you. Odd that Tatum discussed geo-tracking evidence of Robinson's phone. Doesn't Lori Francevy own a company that does that? Is that a conflict of interest? It certainly wouldn't be a conflict of interest in a legal sense. It might be a little weird. But I don't think that's a conflict. Only two options for Erika: beg her to stop because she's scared for her own safety, or threaten her. Yeah. Yes, we are at 100,000. And the monologues, thank you. You're talking about the opening statements that an emailer renamed. Thank you to that emailer for renaming it. Yeah, so we have yeah, I think we've got that. I didn't know if I needed to add anything to that. Hour north of you, eyes peeled for an Egyptian plane nearby. I got my eyes peeled too. Surely if what you got North Nashville and I got South Nashville, we got it covered. I am new here. Well, hello, Kimmy Joe, the Crochet Cabin. Thank you for the generous donation. That's a lot. Flatulations? No, we don't flatulate in this house, sir. That's not something we do. Oh my gosh. Oh, I can't even begin to discuss it. Somebody sent me one of the funniest clips, the funniest radio clips I've ever heard. I can't even describe it. It's childish humor. I still cannot understand how Erika Kirk was not at Tyler Robinson's court appearance. I can't either. I thought that was a little unusual. Usually the victims are there at court appearances. Surely she'll be there for the trial. I'm kind of predicting there won't be a trial, but surely if there is a trial, she would be there. So amazing. Congratulations, Baron. I think when I subbed, you were at 1,000. I watch every show. Love your content, Maria. Well, thank you, Maria. Modern Edge Kitchen Solutions. I hope you're killing it on my kitchen remodeling business. And thank you. I think when I first heard Ian mention the show, there were like 290 something, or when I first heard other people start to mention the show, there were like 296 subscribers or something. It was a very small program, and it's but you're getting the same show they were getting. Candace may be gagged if he tell her the planes were collecting data. It's a national security issue. So this is interesting. I said this to my wife earlier today. This is how I would have killed it. I would have gone to Candace, and I would have said, "This is such a national security issue. You have no idea what you're messing with, and you're putting a lot of good American lives in jeopardy. Trust me on this. Shut your mouth." And then if she's lying, whatever. Don't let the Candace and Erika drama distract you, brother. You are on the most important path. If you don't get this out as fast as possible, they will force TR to plead or off him. Case closed forever. Yeah, again, I don't throw everything out at once. I don't throw everything out at once, because if you do, again, they just like the Spiderman comment, just like the whatever other comment, the mats. No, don't get lost on a detail that's nonsensical. Just like I was not on Egyptian planes. You have to focus on one item at a time and build your case. It's just like trying a case in court. Focus on one item, try your case, and move on to the next one. Did you guys know there's a Valhalla in New York that N102DZ flew into from Palm Beach for a few hours on December 3rd? I thought that flight was. Is there a Valhalla, New York? Yeah, there sure is. Oh, White Plains, and that plane was in White Plains. Wow. Interesting. So that raises three issues. One is it's totally unrelated, and it means nothing. That's Occam's razor issue answer. Number two is there's a team there, and Valhalla was the code word. We got everything taken care of. And the team is actually in Valhalla. So that's option two, I guess. Option three would be Charlie faked his death and is living in White Plains, New York, or right outside of White Plains, New York, which if I fake my death, I am not moving to White Plains, New York. No offense to those of you who live in White Plains, but I'm going to a more exotic locale, and Charlie could afford it. I'm not going to White Plains. That says a lot. I mean, it's a great place. It's amazing for all you White Plainers. Thank you, Marie. It's amazing. It's absolutely humbling. It's like I said last show, I remember talking to my sister and just being giddy when I crossed 3,000. We were on an airplane together, and I was like, look, 3,000 subscribers. Can you believe people listen to this? Allie mentioned water bottles, and someone else said CK had water bottles under his feet. How does this contribute to the plan? They would have to be triggered to bust, sit, or stand in water. I am not. I have intentionally stayed away from the path of electricity. Let me. This is a great comment. Thank you. The good comments allow me an opportunity to expand. This is a good one. I have intentionally stayed away from the path of electricity. I've not talked about the way it flowed between different items on his person, the microphone, whatever. I have just suggested his hands are fried. Therefore, the microphone in his hand appeared to me to have been hot, at least for a small period of time. Whatever else happened up here, whatever else happened with his feet, I'm not getting into that. And I don't know the answer to the water bottles. Allie seemed keyed in on that. I didn't want to disabuse her of that because I don't know enough to know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't have enough expertise in electricity to know. Win. Love the work. Yes, we're going to win. We're going to win. Found you based on Ian's recommendation. Now obsessed with your research. Hope Candace is watching. Well, thank you. I'm obsessed with their research. Both of them. I love it. Even when Ian has shows, and at first I'm like, I don't know anything about that topic. I might not watch. And then I'm like, I'll watch it. I like him for him. And then I watch it and I'm like, okay, this is why I like him. I like his personality. I like the way he covers news. I don't care what he's talking about. The guy could do reviews of cheeseburgers. I'd probably watch it. I'm the same way. Mark on the table you thought was blood could be a smear from the oozing, singed hand. It didn't look like pooled blood, but more like a discoloration. That would be a lot. It would be a whole lot. I disagree with that. Somebody sent me an email about the color of the table changing. I see that. It's a little white looking, and I don't know if that's an electrical thing or if that's, I know there was a tea that was spilled on the table. It might just be liquid. I mean, it very well could be liquid. Baron's going to pay off my student loan debt with his, no. It's not $100,000 giveaway, Bonanza. It's $1,000 for reaching 100,000 people. That's all it is. $1,000 for reaching 100,000 subscribers. No $100,000 giveaway. If I said that, it was a mistake. Enjoy your lives, Baron. Candace cannot be bought. She will stay true. Sorry, I can't donate more. Support and love from down under. Well, thank you so much. I enjoy it. I appreciate it. Thank you. And I hope, I tend to agree. I don't think she can be bought. I think if she could be bought, she'd have been bought by now. If she could be bought, let's be honest, she'd still be working at the Daily Wire. Right? They pay really well. You guys not remember how much they offered, what's his name? Steven, whatever, for his podcast? Wasn't it like $50 million? They pay enough that Matt Walsh feeds the Fed slop. Whatever that is. I figure Matt Walsh, if he leaves tomorrow, look how much Brett Cooper's pulling in already. They obviously pay a lot. So I don't think she can be bought either. Gary, thank you. Thank you. I try to go max. I feel like you played a huge part. Asim Gold had a video about Tyler Robinson, and I commented on one of the videos citing you, and then bam, you went from 84 to 95 and now 100. Well, thank you. I don't know who all played a part. I know my friend, I don't even know if he wants me to say his name, but he lives down in Lower Alabama, and he I think he initially started commenting on Twitter and pushing out a few clips of my videos or pushing out the videos. And I watched as he was doing that. I went from like 300 to 1,000 or something, and then it sort of took off from there. So it helps. I mean, giving people visibility for their hard work helps. It absolutely does. I was here the night you had Adam on. Now you're at 100,000. I think that was like my fourth show or my fourth Charle Kirk show. And again, I've marked the rest of them private. That was very early on, whatever that was. So thank you. It's crazy how Talking Points USA decided to taint the jury pool, saying he isn't a lone gunman. They changed their tune today. So we're really? I didn't hear that part. I need to go back and listen. I didn't hear that part. Thank you. It's important how we see how Candace moves after a visit with Erika. I agree. I think tomorrow's show is going to be very important. I'm going to be glued in, and I'm not going live tomorrow because I'm going to be watching it. I probably won't go live again till Wednesday. 100,000. Congrats. Wow. Red hoodie, red comment. Mr. Bruce Lee, I'm going to wear the red hoodie every day. I'm forcing your hand, sir. Thank you. You are an excellent commenter. You've been a very generous donor. And I cannot thank you enough. That right there, those red comments, they just humble me. They humble me. I've made a few of those along the way to podcasters, believe it or not. And I know what that feels like to make that comment. I know how it feels. Your hand shakes a little bit as you get over the submit button. So thank you. I know the sacrifice that comes with a comment like that. Thank you. There's way too much reasonable doubt. I agree. I think it'd be an unbelievably tall hurdle to convict Tyler Robinson right now. Now, I've not seen what the feds have. I've not seen what the state has. So they might have more than we think. Have you seen the injuries to CK's side shown in the third pick McClintock released where they are carrying him to the SUV? Looks like possible kitting burn supports. Electrocution will email research. Not only have I seen those, I've seen others that you haven't seen. And I'm telling you right now, that has a lot to do with why I'm trying to get in touch with a Hollywood special effects person. That comment right there. So if you can help me get in touch with a Hollywood special effects person, I would appreciate it because I have some questions, real questions. Because when that particular photograph you're citing is enhanced, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that show up as that particular photograph is improved that I think strongly suggest how Charle Kirk died. And it all but rules out Tyler Robinson. If I am Tyler Robinson's defense team and I hear what I just said, I call me. If I'm Tyler Robinson's defense team and I hear this clip of this program right here, because I'm telling you, I'm looking at images that strongly suggest when they're improved, that an alternative cause of death other than bullet to neck is highly likely. Burn to ribs. Here's the thing, living for his glory daily. What burned him there? What was that? Because it wasn't his microphone. His microphone was up here. What was that? And I think a Hollywood special effects professional might be able to help us answer that question. Interesting regarding MK and Megyn Kelly and Kohlberger, the Flintstones host a podcast called Thought Crimes on Thursday. On Rumble, episode 109 this week is Neff pushing for quickest judgment and that dumb ladies found Kohlberger sexy, so try to ask questions before trial to get him off. I didn't follow Kohlberger that closely. I had a couple of friends who really followed it closely. And I tried to get into it, but it was a very busy time in my life. The company I was working, this is ridiculous. I mean, it's just the nature of the company I work for was undergoing a lot of I can't even say it. It was undergoing a lot in that moment. And it took all my time. I didn't have time to follow the Kohlberger case. But yeah, I do know that there were allegedly women that thought he was hot, and I don't see it. That does not cross my mind when I see him. I hear women though they get into this, not just women, but I hear women get into this thing where they like criminals. Like this is what's happening with this Mangione character that shot the insurance exec, and they write him love letters and things. There are a lot of long-time people that are serving decades in prison for murder and heinous crimes that end up with, girlfriends, and they get married while they're in. I've never understood that. Like, I can't think of a bigger red flag than takes life, right? I mean, it's not like he passes gas on the first date. I'm talking about like this guy murders people. Stand back. I guess if he's in prison, it doesn't matter. Congratulations, Steelers girl. You are so unbelievably kind. Thank you. Congratulations, Baron. May not always agree with your theories, but love your humor, wiggles, and mostly your genuineness in search of the truth. We love you. Enjoy a dinner out with your generous wife who shares you with us all. 100,000. Praise God. Steelers girl, I will do that. I'm going to take her to a nice meal on you. I'm going to say, Steelers girl insisted we go out to a nice meal, and we're going to go somewhere. Let me think of where we could go. I think I've got a place not too terribly far from here that we could do for that budget. That would be a nice meal. And I might even, maybe it's a matching Monday. Maybe I'll match it and make it 200. And we'll have a really nice meal. So thank you. Very, very kind and generous. Hey, Baron, love your show. Can you please add the live chat replay when watching your playbacks? It doesn't show. Yes, I can. Let me see. I think it's on right now. Customization, live chat replay. It's on. Shows the original messages sent anytime someone watches the video and a recording of your stream. I don't know if that goes off after a period of time, but I will pay attention to that tonight because I'm looking at the setup right now, and it's set up. The box is checked. It says live chat replay, and it's checked. Live chat replay, live chat summary, leaderboard. So all that's on there. So I will figure out why that's. I think I always check that. I'll figure out why that's not happening, and I'll try to fix that. But yes, good comment. Fine use of $5, sir. George Webb said he's spoken to you. He also said if they put her under a gag order, he is filing a class action lawsuit against TPUSA. I have emailed with George. I think George is a nice guy. I have no issues whatsoever with George's coverage of this or any other story. But I don't believe I've spoken to him on the phone. I've spoken to a lot of people. I went to church the other night for my 7-year-old's Christmas caroling or whatever, where they get up on the stage and they sing. It was beautiful, like a wonderful program. But there was somebody there who was asking about the show and about it taking off and all this. And he said, "What's the biggest change?" And I said, "I'm hearing from people I haven't heard from in years." I'm hearing from people I haven't heard from in years. So, to be a fly on the wall for the Candace Erika meeting, how likely is it that will be recorded? I don't know that I wouldn't record it. Tennessee's a one-party state, so she could, but I wouldn't record it. I think that. I don't know. I might take notes, but I don't think I would record it. Asmongold, excuse me. I think he clearly objectively watches videos. He has 4 million subs, so throwing Baron, I thought maybe other people can watch other opinions because he streams and doesn't watch mainstream. Okay, thank you. Here comes the best wishes from Sweden. Thank you. Stay safe. Thank you for those sec bucks. Like sec. I like sex. SEKS, the currency. I like sex. The currency. Get your mind out of the gutter. Mr. Colvett cannot win money tonight. If his name is randomly selected, we'll know it's not so random. That's a good point, but I don't think he would comment and out himself. Can I call you Andy, baby? Andy. I learned I can't call another podcaster any nickname that rhymes with Andy. I did learn that. I got swatted pretty hard on my hand in the comments and on by email. But Andrew Colvett, you are welcome to join in the fun. You are welcome to comment when when this show posts, and I might draw your name, but it'll be random if it does. But if so, I'm gonna disqualify you. That's not true. That's not true. TPUSA would have tainted themselves per video on their channel, calling him the killer. He's the alleged killer. So this argument doesn't apply to Andrew. Looking back, you're the reasonable one. Do the right thing. Yeah, Andrew seems to be, in my opinion, the most reasonable one there, and the one most likely to do the right thing. I don't know whether he will. And again, I don't know what the right thing is, but I do think of everyone. I know a lot of the things they're doing now are the wrong things. The way they're going after people, the way they're attacking people, the way they're being dismissive, the way they're being dishonest about people's arguments. I think that's all wrong. But I don't know what the right thing is necessarily. But I think Andrew has it in him to do it. I really do. I'll admit it. I've prayed for Andrew. I can't imagine the stress he's been under. I've prayed for him. I don't know that he would want me telling people that, but now, if you call someone a killer and they are acquitted, you better watch out because they're going to sue you. They're going to sue you. Alpaca Renee, congratulations. I've been a sub since just over 300. I'm so happy for you. Pray blessings, Jeremiah 29:11 over you and your family. Go Max. Thank you, Alpaca Renee. I know you've been around a long time. You even emailed me not long ago, I think. But yeah, I know you've been around a long time. It's a little bit like Woodstock, right? Woodstock had a couple 100,000 people there, but there's like 2.9 million people who claim to be there. There's like 1,700 people who've told me they were here before 300. I'm just kidding. I knew most of them personally. Baron for the win. Thank you. Life for Christ. Why is the T capitalized? Gosh, I love it when you get jacked up. Motivate. I don't try to get jacked up. It just sometimes comes out. Holy mackerel. TJ. Holy mackerel. Great show, Baron. 100% agree. TJ Kurt. 100% agree with your comments on Megyn Kelly, particularly when she claims to be a lawyer, knowing that the confessions, etc., may never be ruled admissible. Yeah, those confessions likely. Let me say this. I think the texts may go to weight, not sufficiency. Believe it or not. In other words, he might have to argue that he didn't send them. If they can't be kicked out, for lack of authentication. I don't know what it is he allegedly said to his parents. That seems to be a point of contention on the FedSlop crowd that, he confessed to his parents and his parents turned him in. We don't know exactly what he said to his parents. Maybe his parents thought he was tangentially involved, or maybe they thought he was more involved than he actually was because he was very vague about what he shared with them. We don't know precisely what he told them. We don't know what he told the deputy sheriff or the retired deputy sheriff who came over. We do know he didn't confess and wasn't cooperating with the law enforcement, and we do know he is entering a not guilty plea. I mean, that's all we know. So if all they have are those texts and the alleged Discord thing, I think you might have trouble authenticating it, because how do you know he sent them? I haven't even seen actual text. I've just seen printouts. Seems like she and Matt Walsh felt the pressure and caved. I think Matt Walsh certainly did. And it, to some extent, Megyn was taking a lot of heat on the Tucker Carlson side. She was getting lumped in with Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes, and I think this was an easy way out for her. As a lifetime Republican, now disgusted by con influencers. Yeah, Con Inc. has really been disappointing here lately. I've lost respect for them all. Congrats on 100,000. Merry Christmas. You just made Christmas a little brighter. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough. Genuinely. Thank you. Wouldn't it be awesome if Erika became Team Candace? She would be called a Canvestite. I will reserve that solely for Erika. Like, even if Andrew comes out, Andrew Colvett, I'm not calling him a canvestite. That is reserved solely for Erika. Candace tweeted they had a 4 out of 5. Yes, they did. We covered that. Loving you get fired up. Woohoo! Congrats on 100,000. You deserve it. Thank you, Joe Murray. Very kind, very friendly. Do we know what was in the trap door below Charle Kirk? Water feature plumbing. That's what they said. It was the electricity and the plumbing, I think, for the water feature. I think when they paved over it, they left those trap doors accessible. I don't think they paved those over. I'm telling you, this can't go to trial. Like, Tyler Robinson has a legit case, I think. Keep in mind, the state bears the burden of proving beyond a reasonable doubt every single element of the crime must be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. Every single element of the crime. Tyler Robinson just has to poke a tiniest little hole in one of the elements. Jill of all trades, thank you. Generous donation. If you were his attorney, would you have people watching podcasts for theories they could use as a defense? Maybe. I've never really confronted that. I have represented a few high profile people, but nobody liked them. I didn't have anybody supporting my people. I mean, one of my guys, one of them I'm thinking of was just a horrific human being. But even he deserved a zealous defense. I don't know what I would have done in that situation. And that was a little bit before the podcast era. Wow, another 100. Thank you. Congratulations, Baron, on reaching over 100,000. I hope you keep getting more and faster. So then we could have more episodes. You're always thorough and informative. You're definitely my top favorite. Thanks to the wife and kids for their sacrifices. Yeah, I have talked to my wife about a 4th and 5th show a week. I did 4 last week. It is a sacrifice to the family. We would have to figure out how to do that long term, and the show would have to be able to support that. The advertising, the donations, all that. It would have to be self-supportive at that point, because I don't think I could keep that pace up and keep a full-time job. So, stand by, Cindy. Stand by. The conversation has been broached. I'm so nervous for Candace tomorrow. I am too, Holly. I absolutely am too. Thank you. Space feels like home. I followed you, Ian and Candace, religiously since 9/10. I'm a California liberal Dem, yet feel comfortable. Found a comfortable niche to my surprise. I've been called a lousy Republican, so you sound like a lousy Democrat. we probably are, there's a lot of overlap there. Jill, thank you. Did it again. Thank you. I wonder sometimes when I get these double donations, are you doing this on purpose, or are you going to get your bill and be like, dang it? When you said we don't answer to them anymore, it made me stand up and yell America. Yes. That's what I like to hear. That is true. We don't. We are winning. I don't care what anybody says. We're winning. Here's a wild thought. Maybe you got so many of us emotional with your broadcast that we crashed the internet. Let's not crash the internet yet. Let's not do that. I prefer the slower rollout. I just want the truth. Guilty be damned. Americans have endured too much propaganda for nearly a century. Yeah, we have to give it to them in doses that can be digested. Otherwise, they're just going to misrepresent everything we said. And we have too many points in our head at any given moment in order to respond. So I learned this from the experts. This is not me winging it. Simmer down. Everybody's left the MSM. You don't think they haven't bought independent podcasters? Don't let your eyes and ears deceive you. They're making their way into these very platforms. I know they are. I can't tell you the conversation I had and with whom, but I'll say this. There was one particular podcaster who covered a story that broke over the last few months much differently than everyone else. And I was telling my friend either today or yesterday. I can't remember. I think it was today, actually. Or maybe it was yesterday. I was telling my friend I was talking to that when that person covered that story differently than everyone else, and I'm sorry I'm being vague, but I don't want to give away who I'm talking about or what the story was or who I'm talking to, because you'll know all of them. But I told my friend I really got a lot of trust in that particular podcaster on that day, because it became obvious to me everyone else was saying the same exact thing about that story, and this person was on an island taking a lot of heat. And I thought, this person is not bought off. I gained a lot of respect for that person on that day. So you can tell. You can tell. Hold, please. That's a t-shirt. Yeah. Apparently I said it more than I thought. I went back and looked at some transcripts. I did not know how often I was saying it, but yeah, sorry. I don't trust Erika. Join the crowd. Based on Candace's message, I feel like Erika is going to throw someone high up at TP under the bus. Blame the finances, suggest they were planning with radical leftists. Is that what you took from that? Let me pull it back up. That's not what I took from it. Let me pull it back up and look at it for those of you who weren't here. Let me just go through it one time. I want to make sure that I see this the way you're seeing it, or at least have a firm understanding of why I'm seeing it this way. Eric and I had an extremely productive 4.5-hour meeting that I think we both feel should have taken place a lot earlier than it did. We agreed much more than I had anticipated. Is that the concern? Is that what gives you concern? Of course, we also disagreed on various points and people as well. Most importantly, we were able to share intel and clarify intent. I will, of course, have a full rundown for you all tomorrow, as I'm currently exhausted, but wanted to quickly let you guys know that absolutely nothing was held back, and an immediate result was that tensions were thawed. So if your concern is that Erika, so here, maybe I'm reading between the lines, but I think other people might be doing it as well. So let me say it this way. If your concern is that Erika saw an opening in order to build a bridge to take heat off of her by exploiting someone else's demise, I agree with you. If that's what you think, because I think she's smart. I mean, or at least has smart people around her. Yeah, at least has smart people around her. Fake blood and electrical burns equal quick moving to the car to keep the medics away. Change out bloody clothes into scrubs. Cementing over the crime scene. Yep, felt like it. Felt like it was rushed out of there, didn't it? Even if it feels like we're winning, the elites will still do what they want, sadly. Love the show, Brandon. Yeah, they will, but now they've got to come through us if they want to change the narrative. I don't say we're winning on every topic. Not so bold to say that, but yeah. Even if Tyler were set free, in my opinion, still the conspiracy theory is true. They won't let him be free. I don't know that I'm calling for Tyler to be set free. I haven't seen evidence that suggests he pulled the trigger, but perhaps he was in on it to some extent. And if you're showing up at a location anticipating someone's going to be murdered and you think you're facilitating it in some way, I hope you're not set free. I'm not calling for him to be set free. Maybe. I mean, if it turns out he had just like a dumb idiot and was there to watch a good speech and got lost, then yeah, whatever. Let's set him free. Neighbors, I'm from Las Casas. Good call on hands. Grew up in family of morticians. Definite hand makeup used. I'm also an RM. Nothing about death makes sense. When? Yeah, don't forget to comment when on the actual comments, not just the live comments, when it goes up, when we put the show up on YouTube, like in its final form. Not just right now while it's live. You can't comment on the show right now. You can only live comment. But when it goes up, you'll be able to live comment 15 or 20 minutes after the show's over. I need to talk to a mortician too. I got too much to do. I would think, yeah, I may follow up on that. Good comment. Thank you. Good comment. Thank you. It would be interesting to find out if Dr. Trotter is a locums doctor, and if so, who is he working for in Utah? Also, why was he working on Kirk's neck as a pediatric surgeon? Why not a trauma surgeon, vascular surgeon? I know from experience that sometimes they just grab a doctor out of the hall in an emergency. I don't want to get too detailed on my own personal experience, but one of my children was delivered by a random doctor that was just walking by. Doctor, come in. I don't even know I guess he was an OB. He was on that floor, but so it's possible he was just there and he was a surgeon. Look, everything we raise has to be viewed at in if it's innocent and if it's not innocent. If it's innocent, he might have just been there and he was the only guy there who could cut. Like, that's an innocent answer to that. The not so innocent answer is it was planned for him to be there because, again, you take the patsies you can get. And he was the best they could do under the circumstances. They needed somebody that could, again, not saying this is what happened, Doc, not saying this is what happened, but they needed somebody that would do what they needed to do, go along with it. Say there's a bullet in there, disregard the burn up hands, whatever. Do I still see Erika as a grieving widow or facing her game? I don't know what that last part means, but my I don't view her the same way I did a month ago, if that answers your question. It's not about Lee. It's about his son or his nephew. Sent you an email this afternoon with the basic research. I have a bunch more information. Didn't want to overwhelm in the email unless you want it. Yeah, go ahead and send it. I'll look at it. I am a little behind on emails today, so if you send it today, I probably haven't seen it. And DO doc doesn't typically do major surgeries, but minor surgeries. There's a doctor of osteopathic care, manipulation of the spine. No, DOs do everything now. That's old school. DOs do everything. I mean, they do everything. YouTube won't let me post a super chat relating to what I want to say. This is actual suppression. It says edit and try again. I have screenshots. Well, some words may be, I mean, I'm not doing it, but some words YouTube may be blocking. I can't say one way or the other. Locums doctors, basically, I know what a locums doctor does. Thank you. They traveling docs. They work a week or two, month, whenever, here and there. I'm aware. Wouldn't there be gunpowder residue on Tyler, his clothes, or phone, car, or wheel? Do they have such evidence? I don't know, but I mean, if you're going to go through the hassle of planting everything else, why not that? That wouldn't be hard. EK's YouTube series from July to September 10 spells everything out clearly. Also, further digging into her Insta reveals she considers herself the second coming of, you're talking about the big fella, the J-man? The only son of God, JC? And I mean in the literal sense, I'll send through. It's warped. Yeah, please. Because that's weird. I didn't know she had a YouTube series from July to September. And I didn't know her Instagram said that she had messianic tendencies. That's creepy. And I don't know that that's true. We'll find out. Elise DuPont Zulla and her husband Preston of Salt Lake City, Utah. So there are DuPont heirs in Utah. Yeah, I'm sure the DuPont heirs everywhere. They were originally Catholics, and there was a bunch of them. Thought the security dude said Sean's show you weren't allowed to fly drones over the campus. Yeah, he was wrong. He's a liar. Please look into why almost all near to Charle Kirk wore smart glasses, including some in the crowd. Those record videos, project messages, only they can see, and so much more. I didn't realize it did all that. I did know it recorded, but I didn't know about the messaging and all that. Yeah, they all had them. There were a lot of smart glasses there on the scene. But again, if you're running a top-notch security organization, I'm not accusing Brian Harpole of running a top-notch security organization, but let's assume you are. That probably is pretty good technology. Somebody could text it in, whoop, pops up on my eyes in front of me. I forgot how we know Lee Trotter was his surgeon. I'm a Utah local, and this all makes no sense. So I'm trying to remember the reason he was named originally. He was named in an article. He was just named in an article. I don't know any more than that. You can Google his name, Lee Trotter. It's Trotter. You spelled it with D's right there, but it's Trotter, Charle Kirk. If you Google that, you're going to see lots of articles where it references him as the surgeon. General surgeons and doctors on contract. I know about that. For high-risk procedures, it's cheaper for the hospitals. This is normal in most hospital systems. I'm familiar. I have experience. I don't want to say a whole lot more than that, but I'm aware. So thank you for the Panther Minus. Thank you for the updated information, latest information available on that. But thank you. Gary, man, Gary's coming through tonight. Thank you, Baron, for your intelligence and insight. Yeah, a leftist from California follows you to the max. Let's get real. I'm big in California. What can I say? Huge in California. I was traveling to California when I found out I crossed the 3,000 subscriber mark a few months ago. That's where I was headed. I came back with a haircut. And everybody, that was the first show I did where people commented on the hoodie or the hair. I don't want to do that one. That's a little too personal on Lee Trotter. You guys can see it over there if you want to see it. How about this one? All right, Baron, my hubs is calling you my new crush. Well, Thunder Blumpkin? Tell him I'm not interested in people named Thunder Blumpkin. My response, you ask? At least he's got something interesting to say. Thunder Blumpkin, we've got to talk here. This is not how you interact with your spouse. Oh, my gosh. Mr. Blumpkin, I got to talk to you for a second, man to man. It ain't what it looks like. It's not what it looks like, Mr. Blumpkin. I never even met Thunder. I don't know what she's talking about. Go, Baron, go. Thank you. Thank you. I needed that after that. Ooh. Guy on the roof appears to be a lot fitter than Tyler. Correct. Tyler appears skinny. Also, the sound guy appears to run off instead of helping Charlie. They all ran off. All the TPUSA employees, the contractors, the security contractors stayed around, but all the employees ran off. Yeah. Wolves in Finance. Great stuff. Keep it up. Wolves in Finance, you have done, 2 or 3 probably videos on Charlie Kirk. I saw your most recent one where you were addressing some of the critiques of your coverage. Wolves in Finance has done phenomenal work on this. If you've not gone over and checked his YouTube page out, please do. He really has done remarkable work on this. And a CPA has some corporate financing background as well, and gives some really keen insight into a lot of the issues about TPUSA's finances. Broke several stories that way. And I always look forward to seeing what he has to say. So thank you. Very generous donation, and thank you for your hard work. It's done a lot. We've covered some of it here on this program. Let's see here. Ricky, thank you. Ricky, you're always very kind. Thank you. Gary counting a 7K for dumping Fed slop all the way back to Bikini Bottom. Dude took a shot without a rangefinder, Gary. Where was the rifle when he walked up there, Gary? Well, I'll say this. I mean, you don't need a rangefinder if you know exactly where Charlie's going to be set up and exactly where the roof is, because you would know what the distance is. But the question is, when did he sight in the rifle for that distance? And it's a 110-year-old rifle. When he unscrewed it, put it down each leg of his pants, and then got back in there and screwed it back up, are we confident it maintained its zero? I wouldn't be. I wouldn't take the shot of my life that confident. I wouldn't be. And you know, what kind of a sicko? It's not just going after Tyler Robinson. I mean, he's not just going after Charlie Kirk. He's also going after who's ever behind him. Assuming he shot a 30-06, he would have known that that bullet should have traversed Charlie Kirk and hit whoever was behind him. So now you're not just taking down your target you don't like. You're taking down an innocent person standing behind him or more. So I'm just not buying it. I don't buy it. Not at all. Dr. Trotter did a lap band surgery on one of your ex-followers in Spokane, Washington. Went to 1 month post-op to find out he left practice and left town. No explanation. Pretty unprofessional. I hadn't heard that, obviously. And I can't say whether that's true or not. And you know, certainly that person's opinion that it was unprofessional. But I've seen worse reports about him. Erika betrayed Candace, it feels like. Or she knows something big and scary. She will shut up. Bet the hope for please so we don't see evidence. Only show I turn into regularly. Love the Wiggles. Thank you, A. Marie. I think... I hope it goes to trial. I would love to see the evidence they've collected, and we will never see it. Never see it if it doesn't go to trial. I hope it goes to trial. But I have my doubts. Gary Melton joining the Yabba Dabba Doo crowd is the saddest propaganda imaginable. Is that his last name? I never knew his last name. I just knew him as Gary from Paramount Tactical. I'm assuming that's not his middle name, sir. I'm assuming. Baron, it was Brian Harpole and Rob McCoy that said you had to access the roof through a locked door and only the police had access. That's what they said, not us. Why do they lie? I did not know that. I did not. I apparently have not seen every piece of evidence in this case. I did not know that. I'd be sweeping my home for bugs if I was Candace. Yeah, wasn't it? Who was in the White House who said Netanyahu came to the White House and left bugs? Who was that? Was that Trump? Like he himself left the bugs? Allegedly. In my opinion, it's what I heard. At 76, I'm doing your 20 chair lift stand-ups 3 times a day. Thank you for that good advice. Gary, let me tell you, and what he's talking about is I recommend every single person, starting about age 45 or 50, before that, if you don't think you're in good shape, go to a chair, kitchen chair or something, where you sit down and your leg is at a 90-degree angle. So like your my finger doesn't bend that way, but your shin is here and your thigh is at a 90-degree angle, like parallel with the floor. And then you stand up out of that chair 20 times, and you do that breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It will keep you mobile, and it will keep you from being a burden on those around you, because once you can no longer stand up, you become a burden. So if you're doing that 3 times a day, now you might have to work up to it, because some of you will do it, and by 12, your thighs are going to be burning and everything else. It might take you a little while. Again, you're doing it without your hands. So you're standing up like that, right? Standing up like that. Boom. Now I just revealed that I wear sweatpants on this program. You guys are going to think I'm the laziest person on the planet. I promise I have actual clothes. I don't always wear them, but I have actual clothes. Like I have jeans and slacks and suits. But I do this program in sweats. I find it disingenuous that EK says her CO says she and Candace agreed that public discussions, live streams are on hold. Invites Paramount Tactical on stream today. Thank you, as always, for you. Yeah, I agree. Frankly, I agree. I think she would probably say that they were talking specifically about attacking each other. They were going to put that on hold. But I agree. They probably should not have done that. Please check flight plan of Erika's flight today. A comment in tonight's feed said it also went to D.C. on the way to Nashville. I didn't see that. It went to D.C. recently, but it did not, that I'm aware of, go to D.C. on the way to Nashville. It came from Scottsdale first thing this morning. So that I think is incorrect. Someone just gifted me a sub to Paramount Tactical. I haven't been in this chat for months. W2F Fed Slop. Look, I don't have a problem with Gary. I have a problem with the way Gary covered that particular Spider-Man angle. I thought it was dishonest. Again, dishonest because if he knows what we're talking about when we say Spider-Man, he knows we're talking about getting down off the building, not getting up on the building. And he made it sound like we're saying you have to be Spider-Man to get up on the building, which is not true. If he doesn't know why we say Spider-Man, then he didn't even consider the getting down because he's not familiar with our argument. So when faced with them, he should have said, I'm not familiar enough to comment on that. I'm sorry. I don't know what they're talking about when they say Spider-Man. That would have been an honest way to handle that. Let's see. Great show. Bariatric surgeons move around a lot because of lawsuits, which could explain the licenses in multi-states. The other point is Trotter is licensed to practice emergency medicine, OH. OHIU, sir. Is Trotter licensed to practice emergency medicine? I don't know about licensed. I think we're confusing licensed and certified. Board certified is different than licensed, and it may be different requirements within the institution itself. But it's much like a lawyer. You know, you're a lawyer, you can practice law. You're a doctor, you can practice medicine. Whether you have a board certification and would be hired by different places to do certain things or get staff privileges, that's different. I think I'm right about that. A big fan, but I tried doing some digging. Look at your old content when you mentioned old topics. You did. Seemed to be wiped clean till a few months ago. Curious why from one researcher to another. I tried to address that earlier. It was a friend and family podcast by and large, Frank. And I'll open some of them back up, but I wasn't sure. I mean, I got 100,000 randos now following this program, and I wasn't sure how much I wanted them to know about my kids' names and their faces. They would come on and I would talk to them. And talk about them and then tell you where we've been and mention places in town where I hang out. And I wasn't sure that I was ready for everyone to know all that. So out of an abundance of caution, I slammed the door shut on all those. And now I probably should open a few of them back up here. Yeah. What you'll find is a bunch of podcasts that look just like this, but only have like 81 views. I find it ironic that Charle Kirk was neutralized during a question of trans shooter. I wonder, could that have been a signal? Yes, of course. Of course it could have been. Could have been. So have they convinced Tyler that he was actually taking the shot? They knew he couldn't hit the target, so they gave him blanks and planned to use the mic idea. Evidence that Tyler did take the shot. I don't have any evidence Tyler took the shot. The best evidence I have that he did not take the shot was the leap off of the building. He doesn't strike me as fit enough to pull that off. But I don't know. Maybe he's a ninja warrior. Erika's September 10th vid sets up narrative, makes jabs at Charle Kirk. Refers to preaching in smaller crowds, caring for widows and orphans, sacrifice for brotherhood. Wow. Rachel, I'll have to go back and look at this. This is really fascinating stuff. Are you the one that commented earlier on that? That's really, really fascinating stuff. Thank you. A-Bucks. Oh, that was you on the A-Bucks. E-Bucks. I think Bibi would have had to at least approve of it. I doubt he would have when Charlie was still a big support. Too useful. Yeah. Just talking out loud, the wheels are turning. Tune in tomorrow. Heck yes, I'll be there. Yeah. I will watch Candace tomorrow. I doubt I'll be live tomorrow unless something just amazing happens and we just have to cover it here. I doubt I'll be live. I got to see my kids occasionally. They're starting to wonder what my name is. I walked in the other day and they called me Baron. They forgot I was their dad. So I gotta get in there and see them occasionally. Candace, watch out for them brass knuckles, big gold rings. I would not want to be hit by Erika Kirk. She could break your orbital bones. She'd break an eye socket with those big honking things. Now I'm talking about the rings. Sent you an email, guy holding down Charlie's chair so it doesn't move for him to sit down. Oh, looks like the French Foreign Legion guy sitting in the trunk of the SUV with a cop, then adjusting hat. I would like to see that, Michelle. Thank you for sending that. I would love to see that. I've not seen the video of Charlie's chair being held while he sits down. That's interesting. That could be instructive. Yeah, I've had a lot of people say, well, the chair wouldn't be grounded. Well, you don't know that. You don't know that there wasn't a grounding wire running from that chair to the ground. But again, I'm not here to talk about the flow of electricity. I'm not. That's not my point. My point is hands are sizzled. Let's address the facts that his hands are sizzled. Let's get past that, and then we'll move on to other stuff. Again, I'm the defense lawyer here. If I have sizzled hands, guess what? He didn't get shot. And if he did, Tyler wasn't the lone gunman. You got the wrong guy. Defense lawyer. That's what we're doing here. I want to talk about the hands. I don't want to get sidetracked on how the electricity flowed into the ground. I see his hands are burned up. I know what that means. You have to do the t-shirts. Hold, please. Yes, still giggling. Mississippi girl, I will try. I would like, I think, eventually to do some merch. I think it'd be fun. Yeah. Seeing it was so easy to get up the stairs to the roof, why didn't he take the same way down? Love your channel. It's become my favorite. I have a theory about that. I don't think he wanted to draw attention to that area after the shooting. I don't think that guy took a shot, for one. But whoever that was that ran off, I think he was a misdirection play to draw attention to that corner and eventually to the rifle that was sitting by the chicken coop. I think the rifle was already there. And that guy was to draw your eyes over there. If he came down the stairs, he would have drawn your eyes to something else that was taking place right there. And I don't think they wanted that to be seen. That's my theory. Because you're right. It makes no sense why he wouldn't just go right back down the stairs that were so easy to get up. Why risk breaking a knee, a back, a hip, an ankle? And yes, even highly trained military operatives sometimes get hurt jumping from 15 feet onto uneven ground. And if you do that and you break a knee, now you're cooked. Your whole operation is cooked. So there had to be a reason it was more important to draw our eyes that way and keep us away from what's going on over here. That was very important, or they wouldn't have risked it, because it's a high risk, but it's a very high reward. Candace on Jimmy. Jimmy Dore. Security did not check the location that day. Candace said they only asked for space above Charle Kirk to be blocked off and easy access out. Why was easy access out so important? Getaway win. Yeah, Adriana, you're right. Don't forget to comment win on the actual post when it goes up on YouTube, on the actual video when it goes up on YouTube, not just the live comments here. But you're right. You're right. Everything you just said is right. I'm going to have to get a little more selective because we're at 2 hours and 17 minutes and I'm not even halfway through. Drake the Wolf, Erica's sure been acting funny. Those eyes don't lie. Thank you, Baron. New fan here. Those eyes are something. I almost said something I might have regretted one day. Those eyes are something. They're squinty. They're squinty. I'll say that. They're very squinty. Congrats. Oh, are we up to 101? Are we up to 101,000? Let me check again. We're up to 102,000. Your comment is dated, sir, ma'am. Amanda Van Allen Radiation Belt. You come around so often. Thank you for the congrats. If TR gets a trial, is it possible to find a fair jury? Yeah. Will they need to move it to a different area to find jurors? Probably not. I don't know that it's that big of a trial. I don't know how big Utah County is. I don't know what the coverage has been like there locally, but probably not. But if so, they could move it. That's not the end of the world. There aren't a ton of counties in Utah, though. I kind of looked at their map. It's just a few. It's kind of like Arizona. There's only a few. And they're big. They cover wide geographic areas. But yeah, I think it's possible. But here's the thing: because of the coverage, it doesn't matter who you select and how you go about selecting the jury. They're gonna Google his name the second they sit down, and they're gonna see all the coverage. Like, I wish juries would really not look at Google, but they all do. They all do. They all do. Congrats on the 100,000 subscribers, Baron. You deserve it. Let me say this real quick. Let me go back to this. This is the type of case where it might be worth, if you could find people who claim they've never, it's not even that they have to have not heard about it. They just have to agree to be impartial. But if you could find 12 plus a couple of 3-4 alternates that either had not heard of the case or really didn't know much and didn't really care one way or the other and are willing to sit through the trial and listen to evidence, this would be a good opportunity. This would be the type of case where I would sequester the jury and make sure they're not reading newspapers. I would take their phones. I would, be careful about who they called on their phone, careful about what they watched in their hotel room. To me, it's that important. Because I think if you get these people and they're not able to read Jack Posobic's Fed Slop Twitter feed, I think it would be interesting to see if someone would actually convict this guy on this evidence. I don't know. Congrats on the 100,000 subscribers. You deserve it. You're one of my faves. I never miss a show. I'm concerned about EK and CO meeting, praying for CO's safety because I don't trust EK thoughts. I don't trust her either, obviously. I think there's at least a small possibility she was in on her husband's murder, in my opinion. I'm not saying definitively, but I'm saying at least there's a small possibility. So, of course, I don't trust her. I wouldn't want her necessarily in my house either. I do worry about Candace's safety. I do. Because she's important. She's important to the movement, not just Charle Kirk. I mean, she's important to the movement away from the Fed slop. Not just Fed slop narrative on Tyler, but Fed slop in general. She's not buying it. And she's not in on it. And so I think she's important. Watching Candace's short makes me think they've gotten to her. She said it was supposed to be a one-on-one private meeting. I have little faith she will continue questioning. We'll see. Well, we'll see. You know what I said should happen? Oh, you know what I said I would do if I was Erika Kirk? They're throwing around billions of dollars right now. The whole pro TPUSA crowd, not just TPUSA, but the whole crowd. They're throwing around billions of dollars. I'd peel $50 or $100 million off and I'd start buying people off. That's what I would do. I would get, hey, Candace, here's $50 million. What you're going to tell people is this is a national security problem. And I've now been made privy to information that I didn't know before. And I no longer in good conscience can continue to cover this. We're going back to Brigitte's little Macron. We're going to take a look in between her legs. We're going to see if there's a little Macron down there in Brigitte land. That's how I would handle it if I was Erika. If you're going to spend all the money they've spent, why not just take the head off the snake? Not that we're snakes, but you know what I mean. It's an expression. It's a metaphor. I was watching Barron's live, and Gary got put into timeout by the moderator once for 5 minutes, then came back and asked another question, was told I was the problem child. Gary got put into timeout on this one? Different opinion about TR get you banned. Oh, you're talking about on his show. On his show. Well, Anastasia, we wouldn't do that here for different opinion. Now, if you start name calling, being really ugly to people and spam the thread, I've instructed our moderators to put people in timeout or just remove them entirely. But I'll tell you what, I've gone back and looked. They've removed only like 10 people total over months, or the last several months. So they're not overly aggressive on this program. I'm sorry to hear that they were that way on another program. TPUSA could have a different motive to foreign suspects. Intelligence ops just need allied outcome to recruit others into the op. Odd that Tyler's text supposedly said he had been given an opportunity. Oh, an opportunity to take him out. We may be reading into that a little bit too much. But maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I need to go back and read it again. North Carolina attorney here. Stay on the arc, Baron. You're on the right path. There's an arc. I've got it planned. I know where I'm headed. I don't fly by the seat of my pants all that often. When I do, they are gray Adidas sweatpants, just like I'm wearing right now. I'm brand loyal. I've got Adidas socks, Adidas sweatpants, and Adidas sweatshirt on. The greatest brand in history. You know why I wear it? You'll see the IU back there. Adidas has always been, as long as I've been alive. Well, maybe when I was really little. I don't know who it was, but as long as I've been middle school on up. Adidas was the official apparel sponsor of Indiana University. I always loved Indiana gear. And when you would buy it, it was Adidas gear. And when you would see them wear it, it was Adidas gear. And so to me, this little symbol is the symbol of excellence. This was the symbol of honor, integrity in Indiana. That's why. That's why. But yeah, I'm on an arc. Thank you, Baron, for your tremendous insight. Thank you, Gina, for your tremendous gift. You guys are so generous. Honest to goodness, you're very, very generous. And again, I've made these super chats to other podcasters that I support, and I know it's a sacrifice. It genuinely is a sacrifice, and I thank you for it genuinely. SWJ, Gary once said chest plate bounce could explain a 30-06 neck hit. Once Candace started investigating, he flipped and went hostile towards you, Valhalla, and others. I believe he's a Fed pushing Fed slop. What's your theory on Paramount Tactical? I mean, he's obviously pushing Fed slop, but I don't know that he's a Fed. I don't like calling people a Fed. I do think he's Fed adjacent just because he trains with those guys, or at least they train at the facility. His business is located at a facility where Feds train. And again, when you're around people like that, sometimes it just happens. You just start kind of, seeing things their way. No, he's probably met a lot of really good dudes who are Feds. And so he doesn't think about Feds the way you and I do. They're frenemies to me. They're friendly enemies. To him, they might just be friends. And so we look at the world totally differently based on experience. I don't have a problem with Gary. I don't think Charle Kirk was wearing a chest plate. I do notice I watched an old Stephen Gardner bit. This would have been very early after the Charle Kirk assassination. Stephen Gardner was very much into this doesn't look like a gunshot to me. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's gunshot or nothing. And I think Stephen Gardner may have gone out to Utah with Gary, is why I'm mentioning Stephen Gardner. Stephen Gardner's a great broadcaster, very talented broadcaster. But, man, he switched on a dime one day. Just all of a sudden one day, he was like, no, it's Tyler Robinson, dog. No doubt about it. I think I'm thinking of the right person. I don't want to say the wrong name, but I'm pretty sure it was him. I was born in White Plains, small town. Oh, White Plains, New York. And you still misspelled it. Went to Valhalla High. Rockefeller Estate is close. IBM headquarters also very close. Great sub of Manhattan. Go Max and win. I'm not dogging White Plains. I'm just saying if I was going to fake my death and I was worth tens of millions of dollars, I can think of a lot of places I'd rather be than a suburb of Manhattan. You know what I mean? That's all. That's all. Like French Polynesia. Bora Bora. I can think of a lot of cool places where I'd live out my remaining days, worry-free, under the equatorial sun. I'm so grateful there are people like you, Ian, VFT, Candace, that have integrity and care if a potentially innocent man goes to jail. Thank you. Love my dogs and cats, $49.99. Thank you. My interest is that I do not want an innocent man to go to prison, clearly. So that's one interest. Two, I believe in the integrity of the criminal justice system. I think it has to protect questionable people and keep them out of prison, or else we're all at risk of being railroaded. It's more important that an innocent person or a guilty person walks free than an innocent person goes to jail. So in other words, there's sensitivity and specificity in testing, for example. I used to work in medical. I used to do legal work for medical testing. There's sensitivity and there's specificity. So one is you want to make sure you capture all the positives. And one is you want to make sure you don't capture any negatives. And so there's a balance there. And some tests you want to lean more this way, and some tests you want to lean more this way. In the criminal justice system, we would rather not capture any negatives. We don't want anyone innocent to go to prison. And if that means we don't capture all the guilties, that's fine. That's the balance we're willing to take on the criminal justice system. I hope that explains it. I hope that's a fair explanation of why this bothers me so much. I've seen nothing that supports beyond a reasonable doubt Tyler Robinson solely is responsible or even primarily is responsible. And it bothers me because if an innocent person gets the death penalty, that's like morally, I have real problems. The torch will be picked up. You ready to run? You and me, live show Wednesday night before AmFest to kick things off right. Let me know, B. Hey, I have talked to a friend about potentially broadcasting live from AmFest. I don't know if we're going to do it. I don't know if I want that kind of problem, but it's been discussed and it could be pulled off. And it would be a heck of a lot of fun. It would be a heck of a lot of fun. West Texas is the best Texas. Is that true? Is that true? Email me. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. I found you through Ian since CK's death. I've been searching for more creators talking the spicy history that interests me. I enjoy Liberty Lockdown and Dave Smith, Jesse on Fire, and Valhalla too. I listened to all four of those now. I actually was not that familiar with Liberty Lockdown until very, very recently. I've consumed quite a bit of his materials the last few days. Clint, good guy. Think a lot of his broadcasting abilities. Very talented broadcaster and a smart guy. To me, that's the key. Are you a talented broadcaster? Then you can read a teleprompter. Are you a smart guy? Then you can come up with cool ideas, but they might be boring as paint drying. Are you a talented broadcaster who can come up with cool ideas? I'm going to watch. Dave Smith's phenomenal. Jesse on Fire is great. Valhalla is hugely entertaining to me. I think his show is hugely entertaining. I genuinely believe that. I think he doesn't get enough credit. He's got 4 times the audience we have, and I still don't think he gets enough credit. He's a very entertaining guy. Isn't it funny the judges and Ian, by the way, is not on your list here. You should watch him. Also hugely entertaining. Also really smart. I mean, super high IQ on that guy. Isn't it funny the judge's unprecedented gag order is meaningless, now broken by many people like Brian Harpole and others at TPUSA. He certainly, I think, intended to tamp down the witnesses' statements, and it's not happening. They're statementing. Witnesses are statementing everywhere, including Blake Neff, who has a daily broadcast show, and they had a whole segment today about this, and he intends to be part of a show condemning Tyler Robinson. I mean, are you a neutral? witness at that point? Can you call Blake Neff if you're the state now? I mean, have you guys considered that? Like, Blake Neff was 17 feet away, or maybe 13 feet away, maybe closer. And you can no longer call him. You can no longer call him. Oh, I just got a cool text. That was a cool text. So yeah, things are happening. Things are happening. Magic Bullet, if they unalive Tyler, I'm calling a code JFK. I had this conversation with a fellow broadcaster that you guys know in the last couple of days. I said, my biggest fear is that in covering this, I am somehow incidentally putting Tyler's life at risk. Because the more we uncover about what's happening on Charlie's chest, the more we uncover about Charlie's hands, the more we uncover about what people were doing in the moments leading up to it and looking at each other and stepping forward, the more we uncover, the more critical it will be that there is no trial. And that scares me. Because I would never want to be responsible in any fashion whatsoever for something bad happening to somebody. I didn't want someone to like get beat up because of something I said, or like lose a job, or even just miss a paycheck, or like get put on leave. You know, I don't like bad things happening to people. That's not who I am. I'm not that guy. And it just terrifies me that something we might uncover on this program would put potentially his life in jeopardy. That scares me. I sent you a photo of his trunk a while back, and now you spill. I saw those and asked, what do you, sent you a photo of his trunk. Whose trunk? Oh, are we back to pronouns? Whose trunk? And now I spill. I don't even remember seeing a photo of a trunk. What are you talking about? You talking about his chest? That's the photo I was referencing today was the Charles McClintock Wilson photo. That's been public for a long time. I don't know. Hey guys, let me tell you. If you send me things in email, I assume you want me to have them. It's a tip line. I assume you want me to cover them. I've had several people who get upset when I go forward with things that I get in my email. If you don't want me to cover something, don't send it to me. Because if I see something interesting, I read 400 or 500 emails a day. I'm going to pull up a picture and I'm not going to remember who gave it to me. But the picture I'm referencing was Charles McClintock Wilson's public photo number 3 on the Aftermath series on his website. So if you sent me something else, I'm not referencing that. Charlie's alive and Obama's going to prison. Highly doubtful on both of those. Highly doubtful on both of those. Voting that whoever wins gives it back to Give Barron's kids the best Christmas. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. My kids are going to have a fine Christmas. For sharing their amazing dad with us. Merry Christmas to you and your sweet family. Whoever wins, I want you, on behalf of the 100,000 supporters of this program, to go crazy and just blow $1,000 at the mall one afternoon, or go take a trip somewhere that you wouldn't have taken. Like, take a day off work you weren't going to take, and you're going to miss that pay that day. Use that money to take a couple of days off work and just laze around with your family, throw the ball out in the yard. If you're out of PTO and it's the end of the year, go buy your kids a fantastic Christmas. Spend another $1,000, get them the e-bike they wanted that you couldn't afford. That's what I want you to do. I don't want you to give it back to me. I wouldn't be giving it away if I look, this show has been very generous to me, and I want to be generous to somebody else. That's it. I do believe in over tipping in the holiday season, by the way. If you go out to eat between now and Christmas and you get halfway decent service, and I mean, and your bill's $100 and you would normally tip 20, tip 40. You're not going to miss the 20. You're not going to miss the 20. But that server who's busting her hump 10 days before Christmas, she might have a kid at home. Tip the extra 20. Tip the extra 20. 100,000, you'll be at $1 million in no time. Been here since your second CK vid. You're the man. Thank you. $1 million. Wow, that would be awfully humbling. What about the black girl Farnsworth was talking to before Charlie's demise? She's seen oddly recording them to carry Charlie to the truck. Another girl runs up and covers her mouth, and they leave together. I saw that. I don't know who that is. I'm sure somebody does. I'm sure her name's out there, but I'm not familiar. Was there enough time from the jolt felt by CK to when he dropped the mic to do damage shown on his hands from electric shock? I think so. I mean, whether it was an ungrounded mic or whether that capacitor and that mic drained into his hands on that electric microphone real fast. Yeah, I think he got fried. I mean, I think he got really fried. And I think there was some additional damage done to his body outside of just his hands. Congrats on 100K. Found you from X and started watching when you had 500 subs. Keep up the great work and go Hoosiers. Jolie and Jimmy, thank you guys. Go Hoosiers indeed. Go Hoosiers indeed. Is it illegal to fake your own death? I could Google, but appreciate the $19.99 input from a living lawyer. It would be illegal to collect an insurance policy. It would be illegal to consume public resources in faking your own death. So in short, yeah, probably the way he did it. I think so. Certainly would be illegal to have Tyler Robinson arrested for it. Dude, if he, I'm not saying he did. I don't believe he did. But if he faked his death, these people should sponsor me, by the way. This Yum Earth Sour Littles. These are like healthy candy. I feel healthier every time I eat these. This is not a product placement. This is me just giving them a free love. I get these at Target. I have to trip over all the like bathing suits with tucking stuff. But it's made with organic stuff and no corn syrup. These are great. They taste like Sour Patch Kids. They're phenomenal. I was just looking at them in my mouth. The reason I did that, I looked at them. I looked down. I have 2 packs sitting here next to my desk. I'm not allowed more than 2 packs a day. They're 50 calories each. That's my sugar treat for the day. And if as soon as I looked at them, my mouth started watering. So I thought, well, if they're this good to me, the other people might enjoy them. But yeah, I think if Charle Kirk faked his death in the manner he did, assuming that he would be in big trouble, he would be in big trouble. So would everyone around him. Congratulations, Baron, with 1R. Look forward to your lives. Thank you for all you do and your family sharing you with us. Your fans love you. God bless. Thank you, Just Say Julie. You've been a great commenter over the many months I've been here with you guys. You guys are very kind. $50 is incredibly kind. Again, I cannot tell you how much it means to me that you guys support this program, because the more support it gets, the easier it is for me to spend the several hours preparing a show, the several hours doing a show, and then to consider doing 3 or 4 a week or more. Because it's got to offset some of the other expenses associated with missing things. I don't want to get any more specific than that. But you know, if I can't be doing other stuff because I'm preparing for this helps me want to do this. Email sent evidence of high frequency microwave pulse DW. I saw that one. Signal jamming drones, missing your wedding ring and casket. I saw all of that. Cool email. I don't know that I buy it. The DEW stuff, direct energy weapon, but I saw the email. I did. So glad I found you. I'm glad I found you, Carolyn. I didn't know you were there until right now. And here we are together at last. Freddie J with the $50 bomb. Thank you. Love the work you're doing. Listen to every show. If you need a runner, I live 20 minutes from UVU. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I might come back to this comment. Try to track you down one day. Congratulations on 100,000, Baron. Thank you, his dudeness. I'm very, very, very appreciative. Thank you for that sticker. Congrats and God bless you. All of you warriors that refuse to be bullied are literally saving the world. I started praying for the corruption to be exposed after the "Are we still talking about this guy?" BS. This is happening for a reason. Yeah, that bothered me. Honestly, that radicalized me. That was a moment when I felt like the last 10 years of my life were a lie. And that is a big statement. I don't know if you guys watched my election night. Only a few thousand people have seen it, but The very oldest episode you guys can see is my election night coverage from Donald Trump this year. And towards the end, I actually called the election about an hour before everybody else, before AP and New York Times. I'm not aware of Fox News. I'm not aware of any news organization that had called the election before I did that night. And I had it was mathematical. I wasn't just winging it. I was confident he was going to win. But the feeling that came over me, I just was washed with peace. And I thought, finally, we're going back to the days of no foreign wars, individual liberty. We're going to finish the wall. We're going to finish, all the things he promised. It's been a giant disappointment. We're going to expose all the corruption about Jeff Steen and all. No, we didn't. We didn't do any of it. We didn't do any of it. Instead, we're called idiots, and we're not talented enough. That stuff bothers me. Goodness gracious, Lambo. Well, if you got a Lambo, you can afford the hundo. Why has no one, and I mean no one, what was that? Why has no one, and I mean no one, asked about the HD cam directly in front of CK to his left? All this footage and nothing mentioned at all. I don't like the lens support on the tripod. Looks like rifle barrels. Congrats on 100,000. I'm always here. You're the new Rush. Well, that's big. That's a big statement there at the end. I'd be fine being the same old Baron. But thank you. I have asked about that camera. I am going to show you in a few episodes. I'm not sure which one I'm going to put it in. I'm going to show you where the girl twisted her hand as the noise went off and then immediately looked back through the lens. Like, she didn't duck. When the sound went off, she twisted and then looked. Like, one could conclude she did something nefarious. I don't know whether she did or not. But yeah, I've asked the question. I want to know who she is. No one said her name. We know the name of every single TPUSA person that was there. Every security guard, every rando standing around, everyone milling around. We don't know her name that I'm aware of. And that it'd be nice to know. It'd be nice to know where that footage is. That footage would be very telling. Brandy and Billy show, great show, by the way. Get over there and like their program. 18,000 viewing and 8,000 likes. Slackers in here. And geez, 500 from TJ. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, TJ's incredibly generous. A lot of generous people in here tonight. Very, very generous. You're making it hard for me to get through the supers. Because I got to keep stopping and thanking the generous people. But yeah, you guys have been incredibly generous tonight. Don't forget to hit the like button. It helps push the show out. When Google sees people like the show, then it helps us. It helps the program. Did you hear about Erika Kirk and the organization she started in Romania? Yes. Now, I don't know that officials were investigating for child trafficking. I keep hearing that, but I've never seen an article on that. If you have it, send me a link. Don't send me a podcaster saying it, because I've seen that. I need a link. I need a link from somebody that says the New York Times said this or Time Magazine said that. I'm not saying it has to be somebody credible, but I need somebody who's looked at a primary source. I'm quoting the foreign minister. Give me something more than just some guy on X said it. I've reached out to a friend who's a makeup artist for a very popular show. I'll remember if I hear back. I did email you about the corner as well. Thank you. I will check that out. Truth Seeker. Wow. Another generous donation. Jaxadaka 6302. Electromagnetic induction can cause a loop-shaped metal object, necklace ring, to develop an EMF and therefore move when suddenly subjected to an electromagnetic field. The EM field would be established around a body that is undergoing electrocution. You talk about the necklace raising up. I'm going to show that another time as well. Base Sam Parker did a great thing showing the necklace when it was up in the neck, still had some slack, which tells me something was propelling it up. What was his name? John Bray, I think is his name. He showed how the whole shirt lifted at once. We're going to discover all that. We're going to talk about all that. I don't want to get too far out over our skis right now. One or two things at a time, so that they don't pick up on some one wrong thing we said and try to dispel everything we brought out. We don't want to do that. If they're going to address something we said, we want to keep them dancing. Again, we're the defense lawyers here. We're just raising issues. It's their job to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. Photographic evidence has morphed and changed to deal with public backlash over time. I wouldn't rely on that. I agree, 100,000 subscribers in 3 months. Going max. Merry Christmas, brother. You're absolute close to making this your full-time gig. Well, thank you, Five Dog. 4587. Does that mean you were born on April 5th of 87? Because that makes me feel old. Not as old as some of these people. I see some people that were born in like 2003 and they're buying beer. I'm like, ugh. Do they think to get DNA from the grass where the tactical guy jumped from the building? I don't know. I don't know how that would have worked. I don't know if there would have been a DNA transfer onto the grass right there, but maybe. It's a good question. Not a bad question at all. Baron, congrats on 100,000. We need some RBP merch. Yeah, I'm working on it. Working on it. And by working on it, I mean I'll think about it down the road. Tickle pink. I'm tickled pink. I'm gonna work on it. Here's the problem. I'm not a good self-promoter. And merchandise by definition is self-promotion. Like if I was in a band, I would have trouble going to work the merch table after the show because it would be like saying, hey, buy this. I'm awesome. It has my name on it. And that's tough for me. That's not in my personality. So I might have to hire a merch promoter so that I don't have to deal with that. I cannot understand how they paved over the crime scene. And Erika never objected to that. I would have been screaming from every rooftop. Don't trust. Yeah. Same. Same. You're the best. Does anyone ask for a pic of Brian Harpole in Japan or Korea with Charle Kirk? I've seen one. Brian Harpole claimed to be overseas. No. No, they were all back by then. He didn't claim that. He claimed to be overseas, but he did not claim to be overseas on September 9th. That was not a claim he made. Hitting 100,000, well deserved. Your investigation and clarity around Charlie's murder genuinely helped me make sense of a tragedy that still doesn't sit right. Grateful for your work. Well, thank you, Jillian. I'm grateful for your generosity. Congratulations on 100,000. You kept me on the edge of my seat many times, and I'm always excited to see your next live podcast. Super Gold Star. Hey, when you're on the edge of your seat, be cautious. Be cautious. Because the next piece of intriguing news could push you over the edge. And I don't want anyone getting hurt. You break a coccyx bone, I'm going to feel really bad. I don't want to be in that position. So use caution when listening to the podcast. Use caution. Merry Christmas, Baron and family. My brother and his family moved to your part of the world last year. We've fallen in love with Nashville and its people. Keep up the amazing work. Love this community. It's the greatest place in the world. Like, if you paid me millions of dollars a year, I'd still live here. Like, it's that kind of place. I've lived in a lot of places. I've lived in 5 states, and now Bloomington was nice, but I would rather live here. I'd rather live here. I really liked living there too, but I'd rather live here. I could swear you mentioned that Dr. Trotter was one of the names, along with ME, that you found in Google Trends back April, July. Today's my 64th birthday. Bless you. Well, bless you, Lady Liberty, and happy birthday to you. 64 trips around our son is a big deal. It's a very big deal. Life well lived. Don't forget to do your standing up out of the kitchen chair every day without your hands, at least 20 or 30 times a day. Keep you young at heart. Lee Trotter was one of the names that was searched in Israel. I covered that. I actually brought that back up an episode or 2 ago. I don't remember which one. I don't think it was last episode. I think it was 2 ago. I brought that back up. He was, and it was July 4th-ish, maybe somewhere around there. Whoa, Hope. Wow. Thank you. Keep up the great work. Been watching you and love the facts and humor. Aloha from VA. Now, are you originally from Hawaii? Or you just steal their their language. But aloha back to you, ma'am. Aloha 50 times for the $50 donation. Thank you. Who killed Teresa Halbach? Congrats on 100,000. Did you know I am loosely related to Teresa Halbach? Loosely. And I had nothing to do with it. I think she's like a third cousin once or twice removed or something. You spelled that wrong. It's Hallbach. My great-grandmother was a Halbach. And a couple generations back, they were all up there in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. So loosely related to Teresa Halbach. But I don't know who killed her. I saw the show, but I'll tell you, one of the greatest shows I ever saw, it was similar to this, Making a Murderer. It was one of those where they, I'm stalling because I can't remember the name of it. It's one of those where they try to go right down the middle and make you not know who did it. It's called Capturing the Freedmans. Capturing the Freedmans. There's a guy, I think his name was Art or Artie Friedman. He was the dad of a family of a couple of sons and a wife. And they had this weird thing where they videotaped everything. They videotaped their entire life constantly. The videotapes are running. They videotaped dinner. They videotaped Christmas. They videotaped playing piano. They videotaped everything. This documentary filmmaker gets a hold of all these videotapes and starts to uncover this tragedy where the father and one of the sons was accused of abusing boys. And by the time you get to the end of the movie, like they start rolling the credits, you're like, well, did they do it? Like, you don't know. And I don't know whether they held back evidence so that it looked like they didn't do it, or if they laid it on thick so it looked like they did when they didn't. I don't know. But really good movie. I watched it a couple times because I wanted to try to crack the case, but I couldn't. Congrats on 100,000. Love your opening arguments. Big fan from Italy. Well, thank you, Lydia. Lydia in the Bible is a seller of purple, and you'll see your L right there is surrounded by purple. I don't believe in coincidence, Lydia. I don't believe in coincidence. The doctor was flying around on August 24 to 6. That was the date the TPUSA team starters planning. Very strange. Yeah, where was he flying? I don't remember where he was flying. I think it was up in Idaho or something, wasn't he? Let's see. Yeah. This was not true. Palantir did not own that house. That was a mistaken LLC name. There was a little trick on that video where they changed the name of the LLC. So go back and watch it. They don't own it. I know who owns the house. A very nice young couple. Don't bother them. Let's see. Let me get through here. Whose initials are JS, a supposed handler of EK? I don't know. I've not heard that she has a handler with the initials JS. Go Max. I will. Hello, JBJG. Thank you. Candace just posted a short video on YouTube. Heard about it. Heard that it was proof of life. She's alive. She lives. I'm going to watch it when we get off here. Why does everyone around Charlie's end have to compare things to Storytime superheroes? Charlie was Superman. Tyler didn't need to be Spider-Man, if you ask Gary. But Cash would certainly call him that. Yeah, I don't know. I think Candace was the one that first referred to him as Spider-Man. Charlie's scared he couldn't use drones. Why didn't they have someone scan the distance with binoculars? That's what we did before drones were common. Yeah, I don't know that either. They failed. Let me say this. This is a problem with hiring certain people to do security. Security is not military work, and it's not police work. It is its own thing, right? In the military, you go out there and you knock down buildings and you shoot people, and that's how you keep people secure. Can't do that work in a college crowd. That's not how you do it. When you're with the police, you show up and you react. If a crime happens, you stop it. Like someone pulls out a gun and starts shooting, you stop it. You can't do that if you're protecting Charlie. You got to stop the threat before it happens. And with the police, you don't get the right to stop something just because you have a weird feeling, run the guy off the stage and into his car and drive away. But with security, you do. You don't have to follow the law that way. You don't have to respect the public's right to speak. If you don't like the way something looks, you can get your guy the hell out of there. And so it's become fashionable in the security circuit to hire ex-cops and ex-military people. And what you end up with is this real beefy set with big pecs and biceps, the short hair, the big beards, and they look scary. But I'm not sure they're the best security people. I think I'd rather have Harold the computer programmer, as long as Harold the computer programmer knows when to tell me to get off the stage. That's the thing. I don't need someone who has experience knocking down doors and shooting inside buildings to clear buildings. I don't need that. That's never going to come up. That's not a qualification. I don't need somebody who knows how to investigate and run down every lead, who is a detective or who is a beat cop. That does not appeal to me. I need somebody who can make split decisions, high-level executive decisions looking out at a crowd and says, this doesn't feel right. Get the guy out of here. Like if I'm on a stage, I want my guy saying, get Barron off the stage. This doesn't look right. Throw the code and get me out of there. I'll worry about refunding the crowd later if they're disappointed. And I think in security, we like to have big, beefy guys around us because that makes us feel safe. Hey, a gun's a great neutralizer. Carry a gun. I don't care how big you are. I want the executive level decision-making to keep me safe. That's more important to me. I'd rather IQ test somebody and see are they smart. The big dumb-looking guy got Charle Kirk killed. It's bad enough when we thought Charle Kirk was shot not by Tyler, but to think he was electrocuted is just beyond cruel and evil. Thank you for the sunlight, Baron. Congrats on 100,000. Look, I've raised it as a possibility. I think it deserves to be investigated. His hands are clearly damaged, consistent with electrocution. His shirt also makes a movement. So what you may have is actually 2 or 3 causes of death. An electrocution, and he has stun gun marks. We'll cover that later. He has clearly has stun gun marks on his arm. And I think I found the guy pulling out the stun gun. And so we'll cover all that. One thing at a time. 1 or 2 things at a time. 1 or 2 things at a time. Have you found any sermons wherein Rob identifies Justin Olson as one of his sons? I think someone told me, and I'm willing to go with this, that it was his son-in-law. I think someone told me it was his son-in-law. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. I haven't looked into it enough. I did see someone we had a good emailer. Somebody emailed me the date that Rob McCoy signed the contract to sell his home in San Diego or in the Coronado Island. You want to know what date that was? You would think Rob would have been doing other things that day. It was September 11th, the day after Charle Kirk was assassinated. He's in there signing a contract to sell his house. A little weird to me. Common ideas for short slogans that Barron should put on merch. Not yet. We're not there yet. We're working on it. I'm thinking short enough to fit on a hat. Yeah, I definitely need a bad cop hat. If I could get people out wearing bad cop hats, that would make me happy. Sorry, I'm a little bit confused about how to win the gift card. Hopefully you'll explain it more towards the end because I'm watching on my TV and live on my phone. So after I get off the show, the show exists in live form right now. Marissa, thank you. Good question. The show exists in live form. We're all commenting on a live stream. After the show ends, that live stream will stay up for 15 or 20, 30 minutes. And then the show will post just like a normal video would to YouTube. And when that show posts, now you can make comments not within the program itself, but under I'll show you. Let me do this. Let me open an email. Open a YouTube page. I'll open one of mine because this is, this is easy. I'll do it this way. So this is my screen here. There we go. This is my screen here. So what you will see, like right now you see this. This is the live show that's happening right now. But then right here you see these past live streams. This show in my red hoodie will show up right here about 20 or 30 minutes after the program. Maybe 15 minutes after the program. When it shows up there, just like these other ones, you can click on it and make a comment. That's what I'm talking about. So we may get an echo here.
Whether the
told you. So see how you can click on it and there's 2,938 comments. You just come down here and you would add your comment right here. So you would add comment and you'd say win, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Hit comment and boom, you're off to the races. But you got to wait for the show to post. That's how you do it. When that happens, I will throw that link into one of the comment selectors and it'll select a comment at random. And I'll give the $1,000 gift card away. I'll get in touch with you and we'll get that $1,000 gift card giveaway. I hope that answers it. If anyone else would have mentioned electrocution, I would have thought it ridiculous. Also, don't think we didn't notice all the Google Trend talk done on the Bondi shooters. You enlightened us all with that tool. Yeah, somebody emailed me or texted me and said, you realize what you did with the Google Trends? You changed the way news is covered. And it was a little humbling, frankly. I thought, wow, I didn't realize that. I thought I was just trying to figure out who killed Charle Kirk. Wow. Karen, thank you. Thank you for that. Very, very kind. Big $100 donation. Hi from Canada. If we all solve this and unite, regardless of political affiliation, to turn the power back to us, will YouTube not be forced by the establishment to shut down? I don't know. I mean, depends on who did it. Depends on who did it. I don't know. I need to hire one of my 8 kids to be an assistant. I've tried. They don't want to work for me. I've talked to 3 of them. See, I feel so proud of knowing you back at 45,000 subs. Thank you, Adriana. Very kind. I've talked to them. They don't want to do it. I gave them kind of an outline. Even talked to someone else that I knew didn't want to do it. I want somebody close. AZ sub. I may have missed early updates of the CEO EK meeting. However, I hope Charlie's Angels team, Candace, Ian, Barron, always stay true. Love your podcast. I know I will stay true. And I believe in Ian and Candace. I think they'll stay true. I genuinely do. Dude, 8 kids. I see another Catholic. That's correct. That's correct. Another generous donation, Stefan. Thank you. Congratulations on 100,000. I love your show and your opening monologues. I'm glad Candace is safe, but I definitely would not be able to set aside any tension with someone who may have been involved or complicit in my best friend's murder. Yeah, I'm glad she's safe too. I mean, let's keep primary things primary. I'm glad she's safe. Let's wait and see what she has to say tomorrow. Let's be patient. That's all I can do. Did I hear Tyler Robinson's car got into a fender bender when he was on his way to court? This was the second time it happened. I don't think he'll make it to trial. I think it got in a fender bender afterwards, but I don't know that to be true. I don't know. Candace posted on X and Erika released a statement. Alert from Fox News. Congratulations on 102,000 subscribers and climbing. Are we still there? 102,408 and climbing. Sir or ma'am. I should look at their names and faces before I do the sir or ma'am bit. Ma'am. I'm working on it. What has happened to the great Mikey McCoy? As soon as people started commenting on him, he disappeared. Love your show, Baron, and thank you for responding to my email. God bless you and your family. Yeah, that's really weird because Sam Parker, I think it was Sam, did amazing journalistic work. Again, us, not Fox News, not CNN, not ABC, not ABC, not New York Times, not Washington Post, not PBS, not CBS, nobody else. Sam Parker, based Sam Parker on Twitter, I think it was him, finds that Mikey McCoy, 800 milliseconds, 0.8 of a second after the bang, turns and walks away with what looks like his phone to his ear. It looks like it. Oh, he was plugging his ears. Yeah, that's weird. It's a weird way to plug your ears. And if you do, how long do you plug them? Because he's still in the same position like 17 seconds later. No one else in the entire facility plugged their ears except the amazing Mikey McCoy. So it looked suspicious. It looked weird. They try to explain it away. Oh, he was a general. He was amazing. He was the best. You remember Frank Turek? And that's when the great Mikey McCoy showed up. The great Mike, like Jesus walking through a wall. Like that's what you say about the Lord and Savior when he shows up. That's when the great Jesus showed up. We were there in the upper room and he just walked through the wall. It was insane. That's when we knew he was God. No. We're not talking about Jesus. We're talking about a 23-year-old who goes by Mikey. That's when the great Mikey McCoy showed up. He didn't walk through a wall. He walked through the little automatic slidey doors at the UVU hospital. Beep, 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 beep. Not quite as impressive, admittedly, as our Lord and Savior, but interesting nonetheless. And then they tried to go out there and promote him as some sort of hero of the moment. And then when that failed, then they started attacking people. Oh, he's got a family. He's got a wife and kid. And when that failed, now they disappeared. Like they ran Blake Neff out there to give, his lip was quivering. He was amazing. And then his eyes steeled in and he focused. And all of a sudden, all he wanted to do was call Erika. I must call Erika. I have to call Erika and the Vice President of the United States for some reason. Don't ask questions. I mean, he's just steely resolve. If you remember, Blake Neff even did this. And then I turned around and I saw Mikey McCoy. Yeah, when that didn't work, they just scuttled him. I don't know if he still works there or not. Andrew, you're listening. You indicated Andrew, is Mikey McCoy. Does he still work at TPUSA? Andrew. Oh, you're listening silently. You're not sharing with us whether you're listening or not. Can you tell I get a little weird when I get tired and hungry? I'm starving. I mean, I keep looking at these little squirtles and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, or sour littles, whatever they're called. I don't want to smack on the air though. I don't want to be that guy. Hold on, I skipped one. Your body language speaks highly of you. Thank you for Brandy and Billy. Yeah, Brandy and Billy are great. My body language speaks highly of me. Just because I wiggle a lot? I can't sit still. Can't help it. Check out the weed plant electrocution via agriculture technology to kill weeds or lightning killing grass. Possibly the main reason grass was removed and concrete put down to avoid grass spots showing. That's really interesting, bro. That might be the best $50 you've ever spent. Thank you. I need to check that out. I'm curious how long it takes for the dead grass to show up. Did we get images in the days to follow? These are all good questions. All really, really good questions. Thank you. You guys in your 50s, you guys are so generous. Thank you. I cannot tell you, like I'm emotionally moved, genuinely. I'm not just saying, I'm genuinely moved by your generosity. I'm glad to hear you're not would stop finding the truth. EK should understand it's not for alone. It's also for all of us. Bless your heart. Your second series, CK Investigator and YouTube. You need second CIA. Go Maxine. God bless you. Let me say this. Where I come from, here in Middle Tennessee, when we tell someone bless your heart, we're being ugly. Like that's what we say to stupid people. Oh, bless your heart. Like when they make a really stupid point, we're like, oh, bless your heart. So I hope you're not calling me stupid. But no, I do not intend to abandon my search. Now, look, I am open to the fact that Tyler Robinson alone did this. And if I come to that conclusion at any point, you guys will be the first to know. I'm nowhere near that conclusion right now. But I'm not looking for a particular answer. I'm not looking for electrocution. I'm not looking for a gunshot from the Sorensen Center. I'm not looking for a gunshot from the Losi Center. I'm not looking for an explosion under his shirt. I'm just going where the evidence shows. I'm playing defense lawyer and saying, what about all these possibilities? What about the possibility he's electrocuted? His hands look burned up. What about the possibility that something exploded under his shirt? His chest looks injured. What about the possibility that he was shot from the Sorensen Center? The angle makes more sense. Like I'm raising issues. It's up to them to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. Will there be $100,000 giveaway when you reach 1 million subscribers? Probably not. I would have to run that one by the Mrs. Coleman. And Mrs. Coleman probably would veto that. Anything that could substantially pay down the mortgage, she probably would object to. Hey, but between us boys, I'll ask. Or girls, what are you? I can't tell. I can only see your eyes. And I see it said you have a tinfoil hat. I can only see your eyes. Puma socks are the most comfortable socks you'll ever wear. I'm willing to buy that. I don't know that I'm going to change my mind on what I buy. Just the part of the problem is I have like 40 pairs of Adidas socks. If I go to Puma, then I gotta I'm gonna like 5 random Puma socks. You know, now that's not. You obviously don't know me. Like I would get another brand of hoodie, but I got so many Adidas hoodies. What am I going to wear? One random Reebok hoodie occasionally? That doesn't work that way. That's not how my mind works. Sorry. After months of disappointment and fence sitting from conservative commentators, we loved and trusted. Your opening statement tonight brought me to tears and restored my faith in the process. Thank you, All Rise. It was it's something I've been wanting to say. I just needed the right time to say it. Know a guy that is a prop master in Hollywood. Don't know if he's on location or not. I will see if he minds if I send you his number. Mississippi girl, please email me if that's true. Because I have a very specific question. It might take, I might have to go through a few different makeup people or prop people or whatever to find the right person. But when I find the right person, they'll know they're the right person when I ask the question that I need to ask. 9 Mile Duo. Thank you. A man, a few words. A man, a few words. Just to elaborate on your poll, I do think she's going to continue to investigate, but I don't think she's doing it for money. I think she's doing it to get to the bottom of it. Oh, yeah, I was running a poll. Let me see how that's doing. Let me see here. How is the poll doing? I got to get back over there. The poll. Hey, this is interesting. We're at 24,000 votes. It's 84-16. 84-16 in favor of no. The question on the poll, will Candace Owens stop investigating Charle Kirk's passing after Erika Kirk visit? You know what's interesting about that? For those of you who don't trust political polls, when this was under 500 people responding, it was 84-16. When it was at 1,000, it was 84-16. When it was at 2,000, it was 84-16. Now, when on the air, it was like at 3,000. It was at 84-16. And it's still at 84-16 in favor of no. So 84% of you think Candace Owens will not stop investigating Charle Kirk's passing after Erika's visit. 16% of you aren't so sure. Interesting. Just want to drop a few shekels, say you're doing a hell of a job. As for your direction, I must say you are filling in gaps, confirming my theory more and more, so keep it up. I emailed you my thoughts. Would love to hear yours. R. West Platinum. I'll check it out. I'll eventually get your email. Like I said, I had to work a lot at my regular job the last couple of days, so I'm a little behind on checking emails, but I'll get there. I'll get there. And when I do, I will try to remember this and give you my thoughts. Good sir. Ian recommended you, and I am so thankful. Well, thank you for saying that. That's very kind. It's very kind. I'm thankful Ian recommended me. I am. He changed the trajectory of this program. I mean, it was slowly building momentum. I mean, very slowly building momentum. But it is, yeah. Yes, the burns on Charlie's chest trunk. I want to know. Please cover. Yeah, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. I do want to talk to a Hollywood prop person first, or a Hollywood makeup person or something first. But there's something that when you really enhance that third image, there's something that just looks like something I'm familiar with. And if so, there's a lot of splaining to do around TPUSA. A lot of splaining to do around TPUSA. I've watched George Webb for years. He's an expert metadata journalist. Connect with him, Ian, Candace, Valhalla. You're all tips of the spear, rather you than MSM. Much appreciated. I've watched a lot of George Webb videos over the years. I find him informative and entertaining. You know, like everyone, I don't agree with everything I've ever heard him say, but he probably doesn't agree with everything he's ever heard me say. And I don't agree with everything I've ever heard Candace say or ever heard Valhalla say or what, you know, I mean, but that doesn't detract from their talent. These are people of tremendous talent, all of them. And, yeah. Thank you. Everyone keeps saying AK Andrew Colvett gave these texts to the feds, but he never said that. He said he shared those texts with other people and said he gave those texts to people in government. Government is likely involved. Well, who's the government if not the feds? You think he gave it to somebody in Utah County at the clerk's office? I mean, maybe. Or are you saying when we say feds, we're talking about the FBI and he never said FBI? Because that is correct. He never said FBI. So I'll give you that. I'll give you that. McClintock photo with Charlie smiling on 910. His neck looks inflamed. I also agree with your research on electrocution pendant. I didn't notice the inflamed neck, but I do agree with the electrocution pendant. Did all the TPUSA staff members that attended September 10th usually attend? Blake, Mikey, guy who did video of himself, Frank Turek. Guy who did video of himself absolutely was not a normal attendee. Frank Turek I don't know. I don't think he was a normal attendee. I've seen Mikey in the background of some of those. Blake, I'm not sure about. I'm not sure about that. That's a great question. Great question for the defense team to ask. Congratulations, Baron. Been watching since your first Charle Kirk investigation podcast. Monologues are my fave. Who collected Bill Ackman's? I think it was only a $1 million reward. $100 million would be quite the reward. I mean, I think I'd turn in my dog for $100 million. Be like, Tilly did it. She barked. She bit a hole right in his neck. It was so fast you couldn't possibly see it. I mean, I'd be throwing everybody under the bus. Mom, I got bad news. Were you in Utah last week? I'm kidding, Mom. I would never do that. I mean, for $100 million, she would have wanted me to. Parents sacrifice for the kids, you know. Yeah, I think the dad may have. I'm not sure. Baron, congratulations. Thank you. Hong Kong buck must be worth a lot because they turned up purple, and purples are big. $7,000 for the win. You telling me I got $7,000? I didn't get $7,000. Boy, they ruined that sum of money. Like if you offer to pay someone $7,000, they're like, no, I don't want the job anymore. I don't want to. That's dirty money. I don't want anything to do with that. Be like, man, I just need you to install a bathroom shower. Not for $7,000. I'm not. No way. You can pay me $6,500. Wait, you're negotiating against yourself? Yeah. I don't want to be accused of taking $7,000. Please don't do it. That's awesome. What if the state appointed as defense attorneys? The state appoints all defense attorneys, sir. Or all appointed attorneys are appointed by the state. I don't have the power. I mean, the defendant doesn't have the power to make an appointment because the appointment requires an allocation of finances. Skipping that one because it's gross. Some of you guys are nasty. My brother's an electrician and was electrocuted by falling off a ladder onto a commercial generator. The wounds and scars on his body where the electricity traveled look a lot like Charlie's arms. I'm hearing that more and more in the emails, Bethany. I'm hearing a lot of people who were electrocuted who are saying the same thing. Like, Adidas merch collab in my dreams. I do hear they have an opening, though, after they had to drop Ye. Sorry, Ye. I don't want to be the one to do it, but they made you a billionaire. I just want to be like a 100-aire. Like, could they make me a 100-aire? That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for anything crazy. 100-aire would be fine. I'm late to the chat tonight. Try not to get focused on any one topic, but after the picture, the burns, it's so hard to trust Erika. Makes me curious of what she could have told Candace. Yeah, I'll admit, I would have a hard time trusting her unless she told me why his hands were burned. Like if Candace didn't ask her about the burned hand, maybe she didn't watch the program. Maybe she doesn't know I've talked about it. But if she didn't, I mean, Andrew Colvette knew about it. If Candace didn't ask Erika about the burn, she missed a prime opportunity to say, what the hell's really going on here? Like, I'm looking at pictures online from a professional photographer. His hands look all burned up. What the hell's going on? And if you don't have if she says, what burns? What are you talking about? His hands look normal. You can't trust her. Like, this is a litmus test for everyone who's seen the body. What did his hands look like? And if they're burnt up, why? And if you tell me they're not burnt up, I don't trust you because I've seen it with my own two peepers. What if they made us believe he used grandfather's gun? Maybe this is how they get him off scot-free. They knew he would not be convicted. I've considered whether he would be willing. It's just so risky. So risky. So risky. Cheryl Wells, thank you. Very generous donation. You guys are great. You guys are fantastic. I don't know any other way to say it. Keep going, Max. Really loving your insight and perspective since I found you via Ian a few weeks ago. Congrats on passing the 100,000 mark. Are we still at 102? 102,505, baby, and climbing. Might have to bump up the value of the gift card we give away. With regards to your camera footage of Spiderman, why is the guy in the background just calmly walking after a gunshot and massive screaming? Yeah, you guys discount that most teenagers walk around with AirPods in. They don't hear anything. Holy mackerel. You're great, and I got my alert today and watched the countdown. You rock. Dorinda, you rock. That was unbelievable. Thank you. I got one more, Amy. We're at 3 hours, 22 minutes. Baron, love the show. Had the same realization late last night. Inside TPUS job, but misdirection to big international conspiracy. Merry Christmas. Yeah, I just had that thought in the middle of the show. It makes so much sense to me. Guys, you're amazing. I don't have a big speech for reaching 100,000 people. I'm rarely speechless, but I am. This was not on my agenda for this year. I even thought halfway through the year about stopping podcasting. Not that I didn't enjoy it. I enjoy the medium. I enjoy broadcasting. I enjoy being in front of Mike. I enjoy talking, and always have fun doing it. But it was. I had 300 subscribers, and I had 30 to 50 people on a big show. And it takes a lot of time to prepare a show, to sit down, to do the show. To think that there would be 20-something thousand people on here today, and 100,000 subscribers, and shows getting 100, 200 plus thousand views. It's so humbling that I can't even begin to describe it. I cannot begin to describe it. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Let me remind you one more time how to do this. When I upload this video, it'll take 20 minutes or so to process, probably. And that's my guess. When this gets uploaded to YouTube as a live, where you can comment and actually make a comment, go in there and make a comment. Not on the live stream, but the actual comments under the videos, just like all the live videos that are currently on there right now. Just make sure the word win is in there. Because what I'm going to do is, there's a website. I could probably show you. I'll show you right now. This will give you an idea. What I do is, I will open this website right here. This is a random comment picker. I will put in the YouTube URL of this video, and I will filter by the word win, W-I-N, and I will hit the button, and immediately a random comment that has the word win in it will pop up, and that is our winner. And we will try to get in touch with them. Now, if that person lives in Australia, or lives in New Zealand, or lives in Canada, I'm not going to do that because I don't know anything about foreign stuff. So let me make that clarification. You have to live in the U.S. And if for some reason it's illegal in your state, I don't know if it is in any state, but if it's illegal for me to give you money in a state, I'll have to pick someone else. So it has to be inside the United States, because I don't want to deal with French law or German law or be subject to their jurisdiction in any way. I never want to be subject to them. So it has to be in America, the 50 U.S. states and the District of Columbia. And it has to be a state where it's legal to enter a drawing like this. But there's no cost. You don't have to pay the cost. Just comment, put the word win in there. And I will see you guys in all likelihood Wednesday. That probably will be the day we do this. Wednesday, but look for the notification. I'll try to throw it up early if I'm going to go Wednesday. In all likelihood, unless major news breaks, I will not be tomorrow. But if it does, we're going to do the drawing tomorrow. So get your comments in when you see it. Thank you for 100,000 people. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough. You guys are so generous. And I look forward to being with you again, probably Wednesday.